Awesome. For those of you who don't know, this is the after party for Be Brave stream. Waiting on people to get here. Oh, great. And I'm now playing. So, how's everybody doing? All right, start bringing people up. Y'all can click that link if you would be so kind. Oh shit. Oh, so I'm doing well. This is just the after party for Brave stream. It was pretty peak. We were talking about race and genetics. I don't know if anybody's gonna join, but it is what it is. If they do, if they don't. Oh no. I don't know. Um. So what were we talking about here? Race, genetics, that sort of thing on Be Brave's chat is what we were discussing. Just waiting on the panel to switch over. If nobody comes, I'll just in the after party. But they seem like they wanted to talk about it. So just give everybody a second. What's up, Bump?
What's up, dude?
So we're doing a after party with Brave, our for Brave, because he wanted to end it, but everybody seemed like they wanted to talk about the topic. And of
Is he
course,
done yet?
yeah, he already left.
Okay, and of course, no one shows up.
Yeah, that seems how it always goes whenever you do an after party.
What in tar nations? Who was it all?
Uh, well, I mean, Josh Jones was there. He's got family over there. Then Mayo was there. Brave was there.
Mayo?
Yeah, the monkey. Uh, but I mean, I doubt they'll come over. I can stream Star Citizen, but nobody cares about that. Then there were two of them.
Yeah. It disconnected. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's wild, tragic. Oh, so what's your opinion on this? Because we were talking about pre-crime,
Yeah, hit me
and
with it.
okay, so basically, Mayo Monkey and Be Brave were saying that there should be some type of pre-crime, and Mayo Monkey said that it should be done by an individual basis, right? Individual. That you know what I'm saying? Individual, air quotes. And I asked, I'm like, no, that's dumb. Y'all are using it as a euphemism. You're smarter than that. You're not cowards. So I don't know why you're using it as a euphemism. Just say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. Type shit, like it was kind of annoying. That's the only reason I really don't like going on certain streams because it's just time and time again euphemism after euphemism. But they were using this as a euphemism, and they were saying we should do pre-crime, and we should. I preface that when we lock people up, there should be like a three strike system, and if you break those three strikes, you just get executed because you're not good for society. Well, they're like, nah, you shouldn't. That should remain for capital punishment, and we should experiment on them. Da da da, do all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, and then Mayo brought up how he was called a racist, and I was like, well, I mean, technically you are, and we got in a debate about individuals and the meaning of individuals. I told him
Oh my
it's a
god, bro.
euphemism, and he's like, "Well, him and Brave went on about, well, if you just do it with individuals, you you tell black people that they can shut up because it's not racist. Like, so how many before we just start speaking and saying what it is, how do we how do we, like, for us to just say it is what it is? What is that gonna take? And they're worried about.
Oh my god, guys, I so don't want to ever be called a racist so bad that I'm gonna throw my entire moral framework out the window. Oh my god.
It's just weird.
That's Mayo. That's Mayo. That's how Mayo is. And Mayo's I like Mayo. I like Mayo, right? Me and Mayo are Facebook friends. Fun fact.
Mayo does not like Orthodox guy. Fun fact.
Um, we joke and all that, but that's what I don't like. That's one that's one thing I don't like is people that will throw out their entire moral framework just not to be called racist. It's ridiculous.
See, I'll throw out my entire moral framework just to be called racist.
Yeah,
I think it's funny.
that's also dumb, but that's a different conversation.
I just love individuals.
I just love individuals. I think individualism is the best. I think Jordan Peterson is so awesome when he says, stop masturbating and clean your room.
Well, we were talking about the differences in groups, right? And he asked me about one particular black man. It was like, well, how do you explain this person? I'm like, genetic anomaly. Like, just gonna be real there, Chief. Because it was like, I forget what philosopher it was, but it was a really, really intelligent philosopher he had asked me about. And I just can't remember. I can't be bothered to remember. And I ain't
Now,
trying
if
to look
that
for it.
genetic anomaly finds another genetic anomaly, right, of the same race, and they have offspring, and those offsprings do the same process, then you have a separate racial group that are of higher intelligence,
Well, no,
right?
then you're just practicing eugenics.
Yeah, but you know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. But that's not happening.
Exactly. It's
By
not
and
happening.
large. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend it is either.
Oh,
And that's what people seem to want. They want you to lie, and that's one of my biggest things. Like, I don't want to lie to people about what I believe. That's retarded, you know. And
yeah, extremely retarded.
I don't understand why they obfuscate so fucking much when it can easily just be your my bad. It can easily just be your beliefs stated in just an honest way, you know? But no, we can't have that. We don't do that.
We can have nice things.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm about to end it because people don't really like. I I stated my beliefs over there, and everybody who watches knows my beliefs. It's not, and they know that it's not out of hatred. It's out of pragmatism. I have no reason to stream. I would rather play Vici, and me and you need to play Rust. I need to see if it's gonna work because I had to factory reset my computer.
Okay.
I need to see if it's gonna work with it without making me fucking become Be Brave or Be Brave's age.
All right. I mean, me and you genuinely agree on a lot of stuff, so I don't think this. If we're looking for a good conversation, a good debate, I don't think we're probably going to have one here. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, not.
Unless we want to start talking about how you should conquer your fear of the ocean.
No, we're good on that. We're good on that.
What? There's nothing even scary about it.
Bruh, there's shit down there plotting, bruh.
Plotting.
Yeah. Like your mom. Oh! So funny.
It's okay. My mom might be at the bottom of the ocean, but every time I go to the ocean, it smells like yours.
Yeah, same. So true.
I found online gambling and I made a lot of money last night.
Well, send me some shit. Why are you gambling online, Bumpkin?
Hey, 90% of gamblers stop gambling right before they're about to make a
Right,
jackpot.
man.
Okay.
So true. So true, Pumpkin. So true.
You know the meme where that one guy's hitting diamonds and the other guy's walked away?
Yeah.
Don't be
That
the
you
guy
went
that walked
gambling.
away.
Oh my god, you were horrible. Oh my god. I can't get through this fucking door.
And what?
Fucking Star Citizen, my favorite quest is bugged.
Dude, I'm about to fucking make a bomb chicken sandwich for breakfast. I might drop an egg on it. Should I drop an egg on it?
The ATF was like, hey, whoa, wait, hey, whoa, wait a minute there. Hey, there's Josh.
I think I should drop an egg on it.
What's up, guys? Sorry,
Hey.
Oh, what's up? Oh shit, stream's back on. Back on the menu.
I apologize. My mother pulled up, and I had to deal with her. I'm in the process of taking care of my parents. They have some medical issues, so that's actually really why I came back from Vietnam so fast.
Fair.
LBRB. I gotta go throw these clothes in the laundry.
The only thing that I dislike about the concept of the genetic argument is it just breaks it down to race. When reality, what we really want is a standard system. I generally believe it should be attacked based on the concept of the, like, say, culture, right? So now I'm a Christian nationalist, keep in mind. So I'd advocate for that type of like group, basically, and break it down there and then just oppose all others. So if it's the case that we're going to start taking shots at cultures, right? I'm just going to just go after the heathenry, I guess.
Well, my thing is like just because it's a genetic doesn't mean you have to go to super extreme to try to.
Right. But
And
ultimately that's what we want, right? We want society to behave in the way that we advocate for. So that's going to break down to your behaviors and things like that. So it's just as much promoting one thing as it is like basically attacking another. if you want people to leave one thing, you got to offer something to grasp onto. Yes, Stanley. I'm strangely enough, I'm an atheist that promotes Christian Christian nationalism. Like I get the concept, right? It's why I also don't mind throwing myself under the bus. It would be the case that if it went too far extreme, right? Like I'm going to be the guy that's going to get run over eventually. Like I'm going to toss myself in front of the bus. But I'm advocating for like my family. The vast majority of my family are staunch Christians, right? So I'm fine with being the cog in the machine in the family. This is why I tend to agree with orthodoxy. I don't like the concept of the individualism. Life isn't about me. Society isn't about me. I'm a little biased, right? In my case, it'd be about my family. I would presume that if you're going to take a next step beyond that, it's going to be like your neighborhood or your town, that kind of thing.
I don't get why people so willingly throw away the group. Like,
I don't know. How do we get anything done without the group?
I don't know. That's what I don't understand. What's up, Gary?
What up? I was kind of curious due to the title. I'm assuming some fuck shit went down.
Nah, we Brave got busy, and Brave got busy, and didn't want to like he had to leave. So I'm just doing an after party for him, and like the people who were on panel, most of them didn't show, so
Oh, okay.
we're just chilling until I go to get me some food, and which is gonna be here soon because I gotta get me some cigarettes and some food. So
Cigarettes and food. Yeah,
What
gonna
up?
get cigarettes and food, and you yell at me for gambling online. That's crazy.
Wait, Buster, you're a gambler? You're out here betting it all on gold?
Yeah, bro. Steak. Dude, they got slots. They got blackjack. They got IRL live tables. They got bro.
Damn, you guys are y'all going out to eat for
yeah,
breakfast?
but see, I need food and cigarettes, or else other people die.
You don't need.
Yeah.
Okay, that's damn. That's one way to frame it.
I don't think you want to see me without my morning coffee, or there's a chance if you did see me, it wouldn't end up very well. I do not like existing without coffee, cigarettes. Alright.
I don't like existing without throwing $20 at a table, bro. But I don't bitch about it.
Oh yeah, speaking of gambling, if y'all are able to pull up on Saturday at around 7 p.m., I am going to be hosting Body Cam Bingo for everybody. The first 10 people to submit will get a chance to win $10.
But did I hear that correct? Body cam bingo. What are you going to, like a bingo hall and take?
No, I'm hosting it on stream. Anyone can pull up as long as you know how to work StreamYard.
What?
Oh yeah.
Well, explain to me what it is. I know what bingo is. What is body cam bingo? What is that?
Well, I set up a bingo card based on typical tropes that you usually see in body cams. You know, stuff people say, the handcuffs are too tight, or get my phone, man, they'll prove it, or go talk to them, shit like that.
Oh my god, bro!
And
sure
I have wait, what?
You sure you want me to play that?
Yeah. And I have 10 separate cards for, the first 10 people, and each one's a little bit different, and they're all numbered. So basically, once you send me whatever contact information, email, Discord, I will send you your own personal card, and you can participate from there. First one wins gets $10.
I can't play. I'm on the I'm a federal officer. Like I'm a little like I'm one-sided here.
Oh, okay.
Damn. I like the idea though. I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
sorry,
I
Joshua.
find
I'm sorry. Hold on. Did you say you're a federal officer? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I technically I'm transferring from Department of State now going to ATF.
You're a fucking ATF agent.
I'm going to be, not quite
Don't shoot
yet.
my dog.
I told you we can't. We don't shoot dogs. We eat dogs. My wife's Asian.
Yeah, but once you join the ATF,
Yeah, you're gonna shoot it, and then your wife's gonna cook it up, bro.
Oh, this man's
It
gonna
just
be
depends
hunting.
on how big the dog is. It's
oh, look at him, he's tiny. Don't shoot my dog.
I'm not gonna lie though, it's those little chihuahuas that scare the shit out of me the most, right? Like they just don't know they're small. I don't get it.
It scares you because you can't fucking eat them. That's why it scares
You
you.
can't shoot them.
Yeah, I posted my Discord link in the chat. Y'all hit that bad boy up, and then you got to get a roll. So,
Hey, Joshua, why ATF, bro? Why not a different, and literally any other one?
I've had offers from. Okay, so I worked for Department of State for I think like 16, 17 years, somewhere in there. I got offers in other departments, and
y'all hold it down. I'm gonna go ahead and run to the store.
Peace.
The two other offer. So DHS, I have qualms with them. I've just had a long history with them. It's basically like I don't like you guys, but not for any good reason other than I've had run-ins with you guys, and it kind of pisses me off, kind of thing, right? ATF, I've never really had any run-ins with. They are fuck nuts.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the whole like interpretation, but it is what it is, right? You're gonna work. Once you get in a certain line of work, you're gonna tend to stay in that line of work. Like, what am I gonna do? Come back? I'm gonna work at the post office, right? Like,
No, you had a choice. You had a choice.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't see now. That's the weird part, right? I technically could just go
You had a
go
choice.
right into
You chose
retirement.
wrong. That's okay, bro.
Yeah, I could go right into retirement, but I just don't. I'm not old enough, and I get really bored really easily. So I got to do something effectively.
Like Joshua, we're both law enforcement, right? We're both first responder, law enforcement, what the fuck ever. You had a choice, and you chose the ATF.
Yeah, it's definitely a choice. I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I don't actually have much expectation. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be a desk jockey. Almost sure of that.
So, dishonor on you, dishonor on your family.
Oh yeah. That's well. As soon as you as soon as you take oath and get your certificate, yeah, it's gonna be that's just a given. Which is weird because I tend to rub shoulders with a lot of auditors, and I'm like, this is weird. It's just weird.
What's weird?
So I work for another community. There's a lot of auditors in that community, so I tend to like rub shoulders with a lot of them, and it's just strange, right? Like because their position is in opposition of my position, at least just in existence, right? I don't take any of it personal, to be honest with you. It's just strange.
Yeah. Did Garion just dip out?
Yeah, he said he would be right back.
Oh, okay. Let's see, let me turn you up. Let's see if I can turn you up here. For some reason, this is quiet.
Nah, it's probably my laptop. It just is what it is.
No, it was me. I got you now. But yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, I would have. I don't know. My choice personally would have been like Border Patrol or ICE. That's where I would have went to.
No. I can't go to ICE. Well, so Trump's first term, that's when ICE basically was effectively created, right? And that's just that. At some point, that was at least a good portion of it was Department of State. It's kind of like going from. It's basically like branching off into the same thing, and I'm really not a big fan of DOS. Like I'm biased, right? Because I was with it. There was a lot of nasty stuff. It's too political, way too political. Which, to be fair, probably all of the rest of the branches are going to be the same.
They will be the same.
I don't disagree, Wolfpack. I think ATF has kind of like gone way out of its way to overextend itself. But I've made the same claims with DOS, right? Like when people are talking about like spending, right? Department of State, the vast majority of their entire budget is spent abroad. Like it's not spent on U.S. soil. Like you can pretty much look at every embassy. They're all like, as of 2014, they were all ordered to be reconstructed, right? And so now you're talking about not millions, but billions of dollars in reconstruction of just buildings, just to meet like whatever their security protocol is. So it's a weird thing. I tend to not disagree too much. This is kind of a weird thing. Like when you start bringing in spending, it's like, yeah, we could do a lot better. So I don't have a lot of contention. I'm usually really open to like discussions about things. I just so happen to be wearing a patch or an ID card that's associated with a group that's kind of usually targeted at any given time. It is what it is. But I'm straightforward. I'm talking to guys in the chat. I'm generally straightforward, right? Like if people have questions, I'll address them, right? Like even if it's just contention, right? Like I get it.
Yeah. ATF.
Oh, Jenny Jones. Jesus Christ. That woman whooped my ass on efficiency. God. That's that's how the volcano thing got started. The efficiency of eliminating the other side, right? Like my prescription was just line them up against the wall and give them a bullet, right? But Miss Jenny's like, just march them into a volcano. I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, that's kind of cheaper technically. Well, shit, she got me beat. Has anybody heard from Miss Jenny? I haven't talked to her since she's had her kid. She doing okay?
Who are we talking about? Is in the comments? Live chat?
Yeah. Talking to the chat.
What's up, Truism? What's up, buddy? Woody Johnson, inshallah, brother. The ATF is inshallah. I just don't. Why'd you choose the ATF?
It was just one of the. It was, I guess, the lesser of all of the offers, a lesser evil of all of the officers, or all of the offers that I got. When I went for resignation, I just ended up getting a lot of offers from different branches, which is kind of actually normal. It's the lesser evil. But when I say lesser evil, I mean it's lesser bullshit from my own experience. But I would have never had any interactions with ATF. So it's obviously kind of a biased reason, right? It's definitely not for any like, oh, I stand for something. Nothing like that. It's a job.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what were the other offers to the Death Star? I mean,
DHS, Border Patrol. Yeah, I have a natural hatred for Border Patrol. Like I had a lot of run-ins with them. Like an example, how to explain this? So you would say like ATF, like they're redefining stuff, right? Like they're basically creating their own definitions, and claiming that these are like legal definitions. So I can understand like why people would have qualms with them. That's usually what it comes down to, right? But you'd have the same issues with other branches, like say Border Patrol. If you're a U.S. citizen and you cross a border, that is one branch of government that is legally able to basically not only seize but also like basically search through your belongings without a warrant. An example would be like your phone, like, or your laptop. If you cross the border with it, they legally have the ability to search without a warrant. So they can tell you like show me, turn on your phone, let me look through it, right? And if they basically decide that they want to keep it, there's nothing that legally that stops them from doing so. So it would be like the difference between so like a city cop, right? Like he can't come up and just grab your phone and just take it from you, or like make any trivial claim, right? Whereas CBP, they can. Right? They're not even. The claim is that they have to be able to articulate it, but you know how that goes, right? Like articulate it to who and based on what. There's a lot of court cases out there.
Are you a lawyer?
Do what? I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Are you a lawyer?
No. I actually try to keep up with some of the court cases that come through. There hasn't been anything that I'm aware of that goes straight up to the Supreme Court, but like all of the lower courts have already made rulings on this. So like people have pushed back against this and done so for the last 10 years at least. It's just always been a thing. And now it's actually even worse because, there's executive orders telling them to do this.
Based.
It's just one of those things, right? Like you're naturally going to be biased to a thing that you have you've had nasty run-ins against.
Yeah, Border Patrol's the most incompetent people I've ever seen, but still.
Yeah, and it's not like me hating the Border Patrol. It's just that is one of the things that would exist that people would run into contention. I think they said was it year 23? I think it was 23, maybe it was 24, where they like seized and confiscated like something like 4,800 phones or something like that. That number is going to be like quadrupled easily this year.
Well, yeah. They confiscate every phone in their system and database, though.
Well, not every phone, right? But like, because it's just impossible. You'd like if you're landing at an airport, they would just, if they were to do that process to everybody, they just back up the line.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold the phone. Are you telling me that they're not confiscating phones of people that they detain?
Oh no, when they detain people, right? But what I'm telling you is they don't. If you're a U.S. citizen, I'm not talking about like a non-national. I'm talking about a U.S. citizen, and you fly into, say, like an airport, right? They legally can take your phone, any type of electronic device, whether it's a phone, laptop, hard drive, just whatever you got, flash drives,
without a warrant. Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, right? Like it kind of, the idea behind it goes against the thing that most people kind of like oppose, right? Like you're a cop. You can't just walk up to me and just, basically lay claim to my stuff and search through it without a warrant. Well, in this case, yes, they can.
Well, that's an ongoing thing, even with normal police with, what's the term?
Right.
You know that term I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, within the concept of, say, like a city officer or a county officer.
Yeah.
Right. He at least has to kind of like, I don't know, you have to go through some type of process, right? With Border Patrol, you don't have to. Matter of fact, you can basically you can take their stuff and allow them to travel on through, right? There's nothing there there's nothing there to mitigate one way or the other. And it'll probably likely go that way for like another 5 years. They actually need a lot of court cases to kind of settle this out. The cost of living going up. Cost of living is generally always going up.
The problem with living in a Western democracy.
Yeah, if you want stuff, you're just get ready for taxation, right? Like it's just gonna be the case, which is weird because I mean, I know everybody bitches about their roads, right? Like everybody's talking about like our roads got potholes and stuff in it. It's still not as bad as half the country, over half the countries I've ever been to. Like we're actually doing pretty good, at least infrastructure wise.
I don't know, Chief. You ever drove through North Dakota?
You ever drove through like Republic of Georgia? There's some pretty bad places out there, right? Like that are part like attached to Europe or something. It's a bad thing. My first thing when I got home was I just noticed how clean the roads were, and I've been all over. I've been all over Europe, and not Asia. I've only been to like one place within Asia, at least posted wise. But I've been all over Europe. I've actually been to Iran for about 2 years. Home is very clean. That's what I'll say. Like the U.S. is actually, strangely enough, very clean.
Yeah, I still don't give. I'm your other Chief. I don't care. It can always be better. We can always strive.
Oh yeah.
Greater.
Yeah, I don't believe in the idea of perfection as anything that we're ever going to define. It's just a direction that we're going in, or we hope to go in.
Right. The same thing with when people mention like, oh, there's no poverty in America. when you compare it to the rest of the world, no one's impoverished in America. Yeah, but at our own standards, there are people that are impoverished. So,
Right. Yeah,
like
I
I
got
did,
no,
like,
I got no qualms with it. Right. That's why I like the discussions. Right.
yeah. So, what exactly do you disagree with race? With the well, before we get into that, right?
Just the arbitrary starting point. Right.
Before we get into that, okay.
Just the arbitrary starting point. I would tend to argue that it's generally culture. You want to push like every it at a
Culture
basic.
stems from race.
Yes. Yeah. At a basic starting point, it's you want your culture to basically dominate versus another culture. I'm going to call it competition. Generally, what it boils down to.
Like, do you believe in evolution?
Yes.
Okay, so do you would you fundamentally like? I'm just jumping the gun here. I'm not going to walk you down the line. I feel like you are intelligent enough to see the conclusions I'm making.
Maybe.
Uh, so you believe in evolution. So would you say that there are distinct genetic differences
Yes.
at skin color
Yes.
between
Yes.
groups? Okay.
It's going to be
I would.
different. Going to be
Huh?
different behaviors, or like naturally, there's going to be different behaviors based off of those genetic differences. Yes.
Yeah, different behaviors, different. I mean, shit. Congolese people have faster twitching leg muscles, and they're
Right.
able to run faster, legitimately.
Yeah, I can sit here and say that no two people are ever going to be equal.
Yeah, like equality is a false god, not
Yeah.
capable, not non-existent.
Agreed.
And that stems into racial groups, racial categories, right? The majority of Europe is from.
Yeah. You can make it so. Yes.
Yeah. The majority of Europe stems from Germanics or Germanic tribes. I think there's only a few outliers that do not, and they stem from the actual soil. That being half of Scottish DNA, because there was the Pictish people there that they interbred with, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I forget. There's another one.
Yeah. My only real contention with it is based on the starting point, right? If your argument is you're trying to basically promote one culture over another, right? If you're attacking one group, right, you're going to have to also grant some type of prescription, right? So it would be the case that you need, if you don't want people going left, you have to also, you not only have to attack the left, you also have to like basically give a prescription. In this case, it'd just be like the opposing side, the right. You kind of have to do both at the same time. I'm not sure how it's done, but you have to offer something else as an alternative to grasp onto.
Yeah.
And it's that something else that it seems to be the case that everybody's always arguing for, right? What direction to go. That's generally where I find most of the interesting discussions.
Well, I would say this, right? I would say when it comes to the U.S. is a very different animal.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Being that Europeans and Black Americans both can lay claim to blood and soil in this nation. Like, there's no way around that, by the way. And a lot of ethno-nats hate me for saying that. But there's no way around that.
What do you mean by blood soil? Like we've all fought, or like we fought for it, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So Black Americans, specifically Anglo-Saxons, but I'm just gonna say, Europeans, specifically fought for this land, created a nation on this land, and prospered from this land.
100% no disagreement.
Yeah.
And I also consider it a truism. You have to continue to fight for it, right? At the end of the day, if you're not willing to fight for your home, you ain't gonna have one for very long.
Right, exactly. Um, so that's where America is more unique compared to, let's just say, Europe, because it was just Europe, right?
Yeah, from a mentality, that seems to be a truism too, right? At least from what I've noticed from most of the Europeans I've kind of like had to live amongst, right? The idea that it's mine based off of entitlement versus it's mine because I'll basically mess you up really badly and violently if you try to take my home, right? Like there's a very distinct difference in the mentality of how you make that justification.
Yeah,
Definitely agree there.
absolutely. So that's where we're in like a little bit of a conundrum in America. Um, but I do believe though, right, that the predominant culture has always been European culture, and it should stay that way, culturally speaking, right? That like white American culture, that pioneer culture, that Jeffersonian, that Washington, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree, right? I don't know if I think there's a form of contention as to or at least let me put it this way. I'm not so convinced that it should be done the way it is, right? So an example would be so let's say we say, okay, Western culture is dominating because of economics, right? But that opens the door to basically us all basically setting that as a goal point, right? Like, oh well, it's just all got to be about the money kind of concept, right? It's it's the way you're going about it. Why can't it be more about like our standards, our morals, whatever, whatever ethical thing that you're trying to basically promote? I think there needs to be more on the ethical side and less on the economical side, at
Okay.
least from a promotion scale, right? Because you still got to teach the generation coming up behind you. Right? And if you're just teaching them, oh, well, this way works better because it's going to get you more money. And you know how people are, right? Like we're going to go after our stuff.
Right.
So this is why I like the moral. I really like the moral conversations. Like I really like those.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with your point. I just think it could be the case, or it seems to be the case that, well, it's like individualism, right? Individualism is going to be the thing that's going to go after the money. The only time that you really like morally want to basically promote that is when that money and that resources is being used to basically prop up your own family or your group, or however you're putting it. Then you've got some type of ethics. But if it's just going to boil down to the emphasis on the word I, you're just being you're just emphasizing the individualism, which I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah. Individualism is pretty fake and good. So maybe I'm just dumb. But like, what's your contention point again?
Oh, the emphasis on the economics, because like when everybody's like talking about the West, it's almost nearly always we're basically promoting the idea like, well, we have more money, we have a bigger army, we have like this and that, right? And I don't have qualms with that. They're all truisms. It's the thing that we promote, right? Why can't it be a little bit more emphasized on, well, the reason that we have all of these great things is because we hold a certain standard on ethics, right? That should be. I think we're neglecting that side and promoting more the economical side. Like the idea is like when you get in arguments of like, well, hate to say it this way, but like money and bitches, right? Like to me, this is just the most trivial, useless thing that exists. Okay, so you have a fat wallet and you lay pipe to a bunch of girls, right? That's nothing. It doesn't get you anywhere. It just gets you pleasure, aka the individualism. I think as best as I can tell within a lot of the arguments that I seem to run into, I don't mean like contentious arguments, I mean discussions. It seems to be the case we don't lean so hard on the moral standards or ethics, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Right. 1 second. I'm gonna join off my PC. I'll be right back. I actually have admin on this StreamYard on my PC, so
Do your thing.
Yep.
That's because it's because Ortho is going to basically sit back and probably fall asleep.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep. Little bit low. Can you turn yourself up just a hair?
Yeah, I can. Settings, audio. Oh, that's why. Oh wait, no.
Look at Ortho in the chat complaining.
Dead air.
Yeah.
Dead air. We've been talking for like 50 minutes specifically about like, holy shit, your profile picture is that Roblox? Is that a Roblox?
Yeah. I was looking for something that might have like a fascist symbol, but not have a fascist symbol, right? Like, just looking for lines, just looking for lines to kind of kick.
That's crazy.
YouTube allows this one, right? Oh, yeah.
YouTube allows that. Yeah, no, I mean YouTube allows a lot, bro. There's a lot of symbols that people don't really realize are fascistic.
Yeah, nature. But I pop onto a lot of monetized channels, right? So I like that line that line is a little bit more narrow, right? But I like to go up to it.
I've been personally skewing that line for a while now.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. I just feel like the United States would be a much better place if they were a tad bit more racially conscious. If we had a tad bit more understanding racially. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by understanding?
I would say, like we like the population fundamentally understands race. They understand that we are. Sorry, I'm getting more Bitcoin to gamble online. 1 second. So there we go. Like we fundamentally understand that race is a real thing. Okay. And that both of these races have claim to the United States of America. They both fought and bled, their ancestors did, for this nation, and they continue to fight for said nation.
Right.
If that was a more mainstream and realistic ideology, I feel like the United States could prosper a lot more via culturally and via, naturally. But this idea that like race doesn't exist, we're all one race, the human race. You know what I mean?
Well, I've been gone for a long time. How prominent is that idea? We're all getting together and singing Kumbaya, right? Like the differences don't exist. How prominent is that?
Wait,
I
pretty prominent. I
YouTube,
see it every once in a while.
Okay, I know on YouTube, obviously, it's gonna be a little bit hyperbolic, right? But like on the streets, like, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. College campuses, like, where is this?
College campuses, protests, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sadly.
So it is the idea that somebody's promoting it, right? Well, like in this case,
Yeah.
I guess say universities or some groups within universities are promoting this. So it is a thing. It is being promoted. How detrimental is it?
Pretty detrimental.
Would you would you fault the system, aka in this case, I guess, like the educational system?
Yes.
Or would you fault like like the parents, the people that they're raising their children and
I think it's
pushing
for
them.
sure. I think it's for sure like a mixture of both.
Oh,
And
okay.
by the way, I don't agree that there should be any like racial tension between the races. I believe honestly that if people fundamentally understood race, that there would be less tension, honestly, between the said races. Honestly, I think there would be way less tension. Also, this is not from an extremist or like a supremacist point of view, right? Whites are not supreme in a lot of categories when it comes to race. It's just direct differences. That's all we are talking about.
Right. Yeah, I don't. Nothing there I seem to have any contention with.
Wolfpack said, morals are almost lost and so different anymore. I don't know if that can come somewhat back to the center anymore. They just attacked Officer Tatum and Turning Point, and the cops stood back and did nothing. The officer said they are told to stand down. That's crazy.
Wait, Turning Point. Wait, Turning Point was like on campus, and I guess somebody got pissed off and attacked somebody.
Yep, and Officer Tatum was there as well, and they did nothing, apparently.
Morals are almost lost. I don't think they are. I think we just tend to ignore them. Because we all know, we all know, like, just cover the basics, right? Like, we all know that if you go around and start like taking stuff from other people that doesn't belong to you, it's going to be the case that you're probably going to get punched in the face at some point, right? Like, there's going to be some type of consequences that comes with any action. We learn this, I think, in the sandbox at kindergarten, right? While we're throwing sand at each other.
Yeah.
We tend to understand this. I think we know that there are some standards, some moral standards, right? I don't think they're lost. I think we just tend to like look for some way to justify it based on our own selves, right? Like, well, it's wrong because I say it's wrong, right? So I'm atheist, right? Like, I would argue that, you ought not hurt the person next to you, like go around start taking stuff, is just generally because somebody's going to see you as a threat and they're going to target you.
Mm-hmm.
Same way you wouldn't go around your neighborhood just start punching people in the face. At some point, your neighbors are going to consider you a threat and they're going to attack you. So it's just a survivability. But now if you want to say that the moral standard, like, say, ought to be Christian, right? You got a different argument, which is fine. I think it's the prescription part, right? We need a direction to go into. Because I'm going to tell you now, secularism, it just boils down to survivalism. It's just you ought to exist. That's about the best you're going to get out of it. There's got to be something to grasp a hold on.
And I do think some level of Christianity is that. But I just don't think America's ever gonna,
No, on wholesale, no.
secular.
On wholesale, you're never going to get everybody to tend to agree. I'm atheist. I can't even argue from a position of faith, right? I'm just trying to argue from as best as I can to, like, what results seem to be. And it's subjective. What results seem to be most beneficial to a direction? I'm just biased toward my direction, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Gar's back. Welcome back, Gar.
What up? Anyway,
What up? Let's talk about how the Houthis did nothing wrong.
Wait, what the fuck?
Sorry.
What?
My bad. Go ahead.
No,
sir.
nothing. It's just that surprised the shit out of me. Anyway, thanks for Wolfpack for recommending this. Did you hear about Tatum getting attacked?
I did not.
Yeah, he got apparently he got jumped by some Antifa members.
Officer Tatum?
Yes.
Have I ever spoke to Officer Tatum? Doesn't he run in our streets?
No. I've seen him on CTs a couple times, but he mainly runs his own channel.
He's the black gentleman, right? The cop?
The pudgier looking guy.
Yeah, no, I know Tatum. He got attacked by Antifa?
Yeah. Yeah, he did a whole interview on it and everything.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just now looking it up. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff popping up in Google.
Is there any video of it?
God, I
Yeah,
miss
there's a
so
lot of
much.
video. Yeah, there's a lot of video.
Should we watch it, you guys?
Yes, but be wary of what channel you get the video footage from, just in case copyright. Shouldn't be too much of a problem though, because it's fucking everywhere.
Not me trying to play slots right now. Not wanting to do this. Okay, hold on. Let's go YouTube. It's probably going to be on YouTube, right?
I found it. Yeah.
Get it from his. Get it from his. Okay. Is his name Officer Tatum?
Yes, I believe so.
The Officer Tatum with 3.41 million views.
Yep, that's him.
Subscribers.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
him.
this is not the same dude I'm talking. I was thinking about.
Wait, is there more than one Tatum? I only know about this guy.
Damn. Okay, let's go videos. 5 hours ago, woke activist, truth slaps, China, fuck around and find out. Dems lose it over Trump, trans get a slap. I'm not seeing it.
I just looked up Officer Tatum attack. That's what I found out. Let me just post a link. Save you some time.
Oh, yep. I got it. I got it. It's a short. I know these fuckers. I've been in the streets with these fuckers. I have fought these same Antifa, bro. I swear to God. They need to start funding different people, dude. 1 second. You guys there?
Yeah, we're waiting on you.
All right.
Watch out. Watch out. Hey, don't shot. Hey, Jackson, don't up.
Yeah, see?
God damn. Okay.
He fucking shattered dude's pelvis, bro.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Bro, did you see how bad bro got fucking folded?
Oh, damn.
Orthodox guy, I would never brag about fighting Antifa. I would never do such a thing.
Come on, please, get in there. Get in there.
Not fighting like this. They're usually too much of a pussy to do shit like this. And the gay ass music. The white girl music in the background too. Really
Yeah,
sells
that
the deal.
Britney Spears music really does set the mood.
He's a big boy.
He's getting fucking fist bumped.
Good job, brother. Hold on, I'm sorry, dude. I gotta see this fucking slam. Dude. I gotta see this push
Hey,
again.
Jackson, don't up.
Oh. Oh. Damn. Damn. Go to Tatum's channel. Go to Tatum's channel on why I punked Antifa around 10 minutes. At least watch his version. This is his version. This is his version of events. This is from his channel. This is from his channel. This is from Officer Tatum. But I'll look that up and I'll play it for you. I'll look it up and I'll play it for you. His opinion on the matter. But dude, they never do this shit with me when I'm out there.
I
Or
don't
any
know.
of our guys, bro.
I don't know. Maybe because I don't know. I'm gonna say, you know what, screwed. I'm gonna say it. Maybe because he's black. Maybe because he's black. Even though he's way bigger than I thought he was. I
No,
thought
we had
Tatum-
a black guy out there. We had Andre.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. So the Andre never got intimidated.
And no, you know, fun fact, we rolled up to the DSA and they called me poor and Andre the N-word. Fun fact.
Wait, what?
You back?
Yeah, just got back. What's up?
Oh, I was saying, like, this shit never happens when I'm in the fucking streets, right? They never
Are you bragging about fighting Antifa?
We didn't necessarily... Well, they won't fight me! No, they won't fight me! That's the problem! They don't fucking...
They won't. Come on, Orthodox. They won't 1-to-1s, man. They won't 1-to-1s.
They won't! They won't! They never do!
Video again, I was transitioning from the car to my computer.
You want to play the video again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll watch it again. I have it pulled up.
His fucking bike destroyed his own leg.
Oh my god, bro. Bro's gonna become a racist after this one. Holy fuck. I didn't realize... Huh?
I mean, I was going to say he started it. They were trying to swarm him.
They were. I don't know if you can swarm a Viking. Like, I'm sorry, not a Viking, but the bro's a big dude. Bro's a big boy.
Big motherfucker.
What is it, like 6 foot?
I
6?
believe so. I mean,
He looks like it.
he's got to be taller than me because I'm 6 foot. So I'm assuming he is 6'6". And plus, he's wide as well.
Hey, Jackson, slow down.
Oh wait, I saw it earlier. Oh, they were trying to harass somebody else at whoever that booth that was, and they were taking it down. And he came in trying to help them, and then they tried to swarm Tatum. Okay.
Yeah. Bro.
They're attacking someone's property like that. Why are the police standing down?
The police were told to stand down.
Yeah, they were ordered to do so.
They were ordered to stand down. And that's how it always goes in these fucking events.
That's why I say we should risk jail to just put Antifa in their place.
I'm pretty sure that's what Tatum's doing.
Tatum straight up risked jail right there.
Yeah, he's a Chad. That's awesome.
Come on, please, get in there. Get in there.
Yeah, they're telling the cops to get in there and not doing anything, see? Blue Jay's in the back. You can start moderating this now, Orthodox. I don't have to. He's getting dapped up by old boomers and shit.
Of course. Bro, I'm sorry. I'd be like, fuck your 401k.
Yeah,
I'm doing what you would never do, is what I would have told them.
exactly.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up,
Yeah.
Jay?
Not much. Just telling you, I saw it on his channel the other day, and I don't usually watch his stuff, but it just like interests me, so I clicked on it, and it was hilarious. So I wrote it down to like. His has a different view though. You can see him from the side. He just shoves the guy. It's so funny.
For some reason, I didn't think we were allowed to talk about bad on Antifa. And
About what?
And brag about them.
About what?
I'm just being a shitter.
No, he talked to the police officers in advance, and he said, if they continue hitting people and stealing property, I'm going to enact like our rights, and I'm going to protect these people. And the cops are like, that's fine, that's within your rights.
Yo, his video from the side has way better. There's way more Antifa.
Way better.
Yeah, it's way better. It's more clear.
Yeah.
And there's way more Antifa members at that booth than what's shown.
Yeah, it shows before he even gets there. He's talking about how he's on the phone. Where you guys at? And they're like, "Hey, we're getting invaded." But I mean, whatever. I'm probably just gonna cover a little bit of it. But I'm trying to do a stream. I have so much crap I've been like saving up, and I just really don't like doing them. But what? Are you gonna post it? So I don't care. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What city was this
It's called. Hold on, I'll post a link. Okay, I posted the link in the back chat. I don't know if we're allowed to play it because I don't know how big on copyright he is.
Shit, play it anyway. Fuck it.
Well, like, you know, just within reason.
Yeah,
I've seen people cover his stuff before.
I will, for the sake of brevity, or cover my own ass.
If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
No. I forgot Bumpkin wasn't moderating, and I was stuffing my face full of Taco Bell.
Yeah. Full of Taco Bell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put it in the. I was trying to comment. That's why I called. Nobody was reading my comments. I was like, he did talk to the police. He cleared it, but it's okay. I know it was just you guys are short staffed. I just called anyway. So.
Hey, they made me do it. They made me do it. I'm going to protect the people at Turning Point USA.
I think he's hilarious. I love him.
This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we already talked about the Talladega sponsorship. If you want to be involved, it's very simple. $50, you'll get a T-shirt. $200, you get the name on the card, you get a T-shirt, and you'll get a signed autograph photo from me and Caleb. $5,000, you'll have the whole experience. The entire weekend will be with your boy B. Tatum. We're going to go to dinner at the steakhouse, all expenses paid and drinks covered. And we'll be in the pit for the race, and we'll watch the cup race the very next day, literally the whole weekend. All right, I want to show y'all this shirt that I'm wearing. People are like, B. Tatum,
have you guys seen the Dawn?
Yes, it's available right here. Build the Wall. It is the Trump Craft shirt. Get you one today. A discount code will pop up somewhere at the top. I think we're still doing March Madness with 80% off of our sales.
I have this hoodie called the Dawn.
However, if you want this shirt, it's not in the sales selection. If you want the sale
prisoner
selection
tatted up body.
If you want to contribute to the Talladega experience,
I got that from
be a sponsor.
So
here is guidelines right here. Go to TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com right now. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. We need you to hit the like button and share so we can get some momentum going on these videos. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, welcome back to the Austin Tatum Show.
You might want to pause it for a minute.
Anticipating for me to say something. I hadn't even spoken about this. I really needed a break last night. You know, after everything that went on, I wanted to give me something to eat. I just didn't want the riffraff. But today I'm here to describe what happened at UC Davis. First of all, I want to say how disappointed I am at the police department's response to these things that happened at UC Davis. And I love the police, and y'all know I love the police, and I support them. And I think as individual cops there, they were good people. But somehow they have directives that they are not to engage with these people whatsoever. I'm just going to lay it out for you, and then we're going to play the video. They literally, we had an event.
I remember when they have these directives and the government fails to do its job and protect your rights. Just saying, is it really terrorism if you go out and you hurt Antifa?
Yeah, he explains why. I forget. It made sense, though. I think he says it in a minute.
They only had a few cops there. They literally watched this Antifa-style group with masks on, dressed in all black, chanting and screaming, come up to Turning Point's booth, tear everything up. They hitting people. They throwing stuff on people. They're trying to damage the cameras. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The cops and the administrators are watching this. And then I come to campus. I came after the first time it got crazy. And I'm talking to them and I'm saying, hey, my guys here are saying they got assaulted a minute ago. Are you guys going to protect us? Are you guys able to protect us? And we could not get a real answer. And protecting us to the police department meant they're just going to line up cops. And I asked them in all truth and all honesty, so the cops can't get mad at me or nothing. I said, if they come back, are you guys going to use force? Because you standing here and letting them beat everybody up, which we know they ain't. Y'all know me. I told you I'm not playing. Or y'all going to use force, pepper spray, anything? He said, no, we're not going to do any of that. We'll shut the event down and we'll escort you guys out. And I said, listen, sir, if they come to this booth, I'm going to protect these people that are at the booth. I'm not going to let them come in here and just beat people up. Are we on the same page? But I want y'all to watch the video, because if you missed it, this is the craziness that was happening. Is this the collage one? The one with
They get away with this shit. But you say one thing that's right wing, and you get life ruination.
Well, yeah, and everybody it can like persecute the cops. It's crazy. Like the cops have no power because the lawsuits and just outrage. It's like even if they're in the wrong,
Time and time again, it's not. When it comes to Antifa and these political protests, time and time again, it has nothing to do with lawsuits. This is why I'm against police departments. All right? I'm against police departments because your only constitutional law enforcement is the sheriff. And this is why I keep telling people. People wonder why I don't want to go to the big cities and protest and say it's stupid. If you go somewhere inside of a city limit, especially a massive city, the police department is beholden to the political directive of the mayor and the chief of police. They are not beholden to the Constitution. The sheriff of that county is beholden to the Constitution.
Right. They all have their own protocols that they can dictate themselves. Yeah. Which is why it's better to live in a city that is represented by the people you vote for, right? But sometimes you have to watch innocent people be hurt.
Nah, what we need to do is make police departments illegal and fold the budget and the manpower into the sheriff's department of your local.
Yes, sir.
So you're saying not like the unified police? You'd say just all under? I'm kind of confused.
So how it works?
Your local law enforcement should be 100% controlled by the sheriff.
Yeah, reallocate resources to the sheriff's department. That's what he's saying.
Yep. So basically,
instead of the politicians, you mean?
Well, it's not. Well, because the police is the armed militant wing of whatever politician or politics or political party the mayor and the chief of police are a part of.
You don't think the sheriff will still kind of choose sides with the politicians whether he has control of it or not?
Even if he is, he's less likely to do so. That's why.
Well, even if he does agree politically, he's beholden to the Constitution. See, the chief of police can run dictates and order people to stand down. You notice how you never see a uniformed sheriff standing down in these videos, because the chief of police is not beholden to the Constitution of the United States.
Right, but aren't they elected in?
Yes.
So they're probably going to be voted by the same voter party.
That doesn't matter, Blue Jay. The sheriff is not allowed to allow your property to be destroyed because he is beholden to the Constitution.
So they're breaking the Constitution right now, is what you're saying?
The police departments are not beholden to the Constitution. They are unconstitutional. They are bureaucracy. They are unelected bureaucracies.
Okay, so there's two different kinds of cops. There's the Okay, well, I don't know. I'm honestly asking. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I thought they were all kind of under a sheriff and stuff. I don't know. But maybe they'll help people watching too. I don't know that.
Okay, so
at least women don't know that.
The chief of police is typically elected and is of the same party that the mayor is, and sometimes you get the sheriff doing that, right? But the difference is the chief of police is charged with protecting that municipality. It's like a militia for the municipality. Actually, that's exactly what it is. It's a city militia.
Okay, but they also still do have like order of operations, right? That's why, for instance, legally the knee on the neck thing or the shoulder was part of the protocol, even though it looked bad and it ended up being.
The protocols are from department to department, even among sheriffs.
Right, but I'm just saying they write those protocols according to their district, right? So the sheriffs could write different protocols depending on who they are.
Yes, but that's not the same thing. See,
It's not
There is-
streamlined though. It's not
there-
streamlined across all 50 states. There's variable.
There is no constitution to tell a police chief what he can and can't do, because he is not beholden to the Constitution.
No, I get that.
Okay, so
But I'm just saying-
so when the police chief tells his police officers to stand down, he does not face any repercussions.
Well, they
The
did have a
sheriff-
solution. It just wasn't to apprehend those people. It was to shut down the event. Remember?
Yeah, but
So they
if-
did have a
if a
solution to protect
sheriff-
people.
If the sheriff does that, that's a problem, because the sheriff has to legally protect you.
Isn't that
He's
protecting you by shutting down the event and making
No,
everybody
but
leave?
he also has to protect your right to freedom of assembly. See, he can't. The sheriff can't shut you down, and now they can provide backup to the
They
police department,
can,
and that's quite frequently.
if it becomes a riot. Yes, they can.
Yeah,
They
but
can-
here's the thing. That's not a riot. That is a group of people going in and attacking another group of people for protesting.
What's the difference?
The sheriff would have to shoot Antifa or arrest Antifa in this case.
I'm just saying, even if it was all sheriff based and sheriff led, the sheriff could take on the exact same protocol for that type of situation if they decided to.
No, he cannot. That's what
So
I'm
he's legally bound to arrest people.
Yes, he's legally bound to protect every citizen's rights because he is beholden to the Constitution.
Okay, but what does that mean to protect? Because diffusing and separating people is also protecting. Doesn't mean you have to arrest everybody.
Why did the police stand down and let it get that bad?
Because there were too many people and not enough police, and they have too much to lose, so they'd rather just shut down the event.
A sheriff would get in trouble if they let that happen. If they purposely did not post enough police. We're getting bogged down in semantics, Blue Jay.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing. I'm just not understanding, but that's okay. We can move on.
Would you like to? Here, I'll tell you exactly how that would have went with SO, with the deputy sheriffs. Deputy sheriffs would have been standing out there. The Antifa probably would have known better, but they probably would have rolled up and tried to take that shit. And then the beanbag guns would have came out.
Maybe in Vegas. What about in California? Sheriff in California.
Yeah.
What would they do?
Beanbag guns.
The same thing. Here's the thing. Even though sheriffs have different politics, and you should specifically research sheriffs.
Okay, the beanbag guns, if they don't leave, though. If they tell them to leave and they leave, that's all that these people's plan was. They
What
knew
we're
it
looking
too.
at is when they're already being argumentative and they're already destroying personal property.
Right. So you're saying they should have had them leave already.
Yeah.
I can understand that. That I get. But having to arrest them all, I don't think that's
This
true.
would have been cut off at the head if it was the sheriff, is what we're saying.
Depending on the sheriff, I don't know. I'll have to research it more. But I think depending on the
Look,
sheriff,
have you
his order may have been, let's evacuate.
Have you noticed how in this video there's never any sheriff's officers? Even
I
though
haven't. I wouldn't
even though
recognize the difference.
sheriffs have jurisdiction all over the county, including city limits.
No, I didn't notice that.
You don't know.
Well, I just told you I didn't really know the difference. I don't think I'd be able to spot a sheriff over like a chief or whatever. I don't know. I'm guessing it's their uniform.
Yeah, sheriff's deputies typically have a tan or brown uniform.
Or like a star.
Tans and browns.
Yeah, okay.
Brown
I
pants.
guess I know what you're talking about from like the old movies and shit.
The issue is the police department is choosing to do this because they can get away. They can get away with not protecting your rights and saying, "Oh, there's just not enough police." They can get away with it. The sheriff's office doesn't. When I say they're beholden to the conversation or the Constitution, that means that they have to protect your personal property and your rights. If Antifa were to aggress you, or whatever group this was were to aggress you, and the sheriffs were there, they would have arrested the individuals doing so, or they would
for vandalism.
Yes.
Yes.
You don't get arrested for vandalism. You get a ticket.
When you destroy people's property in the act of vandalism, you get arrested.
Yes.
It's called property damage.
Okay, I guess maybe. So in that situation, how would they arrested everybody? That many people and that few cops.
You'd be amazed how many people hit the floor whenever they see a beanbag shotgun cock.
Well, they couldn't have gone to that extent first. They did try to have to grab individuals
the
and
minute the
arrest
crowd,
them with their
the minute
Miranda
the crowd,
rights.
The minute the crowd turned violent, they had the right to deploy beanbag rounds.
Yeah.
But is that reasonable? I mean,
Yes.
Yes.
they were ripping papers. I mean, when you see the video,
Look, I will because I respect you, Blue Jay. I will very.
But they
rarely,
didn't ever ask him to leave yet.
Well,
That's
I
insane.
will very rarely use this argument against you, but because you are a woman, I don't think you understand the danger of having a crowd of more than 3 people turn violent. I don't think.
No, I totally get it. I totally do. I've been in one of those concerts where the whole crowd is very scary. Like, crowds are very powerful. I get that. What I'm saying is they hadn't even told him to leave yet. So if they had told him to leave and they didn't, and they were still violent, then I see the beanbags. But start shooting at people.
My sister in Christ, you cannot look at a crowd starting to get violent and go, please leave. No, it doesn't work.
They were ripping the papers. I mean, it wasn't like that crazy. Have you seen it?
They weren't just ripping papers. They were out here attacking people.
Right, but I'm just saying.
They tried to swarm Tatum like a group of bees.
So Gary, do you think what they did would require all of them to be arrested and taken to jail, or how do you think they should have handled that best?
I would attempt to arrest as many as I could. Pretty sure that's what they tried. If the cops were active, they would have tried to do that.
They did all that in front of the cops, though, so they clearly weren't that intimidated, and they could have mob attacked the cops.
because their political party and political allies are.
Well, they have to look out for their own lives too. They want to go home. I mean, there's only so much that they can put themselves in danger.
Don't be a cop.
No, don't be a cop.
Well, no, they could have done a job of
is to put
security
your life on the line
there
for other
up front.
Yeah,
They could have done security up front, but just to rely 3 guys to take on a crowd that's already violent.
If you're not number one, they could have always just called backup. And number 2, if you're not willing to put your life on the line, you shouldn't be an officer.
I do think they could have called backup, and they should have, and they probably did. But at the same time, they should have said, "Okay, everybody needs to leave, and backup's on the way."
They should have called. They should have let the sheriff.
I'm just trying to be reasonable here. I mean,
Blue Jay, you're trying to be reasonable into a situation that you can't be reasonable in.
Well, they're sworn to try to defuse first. So if everybody can just disperse, and that solves the problem, that's better than initiating more violence. And that's kind of the code they go on. I'm not saying what they did was right at all. I think Tatum was hilarious, and I thought it was great when he pushed the people. I don't care. They deserved it, but I'm just saying, if as a principle of rule, I think that'd be a lot.
Let me ask you something. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on the streets and you're telling me equality is the way to go, to be a nice, kind person, and I get angry and I say, you need to shut up, you need to stop pushing this political belief, and I assault you, would you not want me to go to jail?
Yeah, if you assault me.
Would you want me to go to jail first, or would you want me to ask
I don't disagree with the assault.
Oh, wait. Well,
I'm talking about the tearing up the posters and running around.
Snatching someone from someone's hand and tearing it up. Guess what? Legally, that's assault.
Well, they pulled down the tent. So I don't agree that it's right, but I'm saying the assaults, they should be arrested even in this situation, of course. No matter what, assaults are they're a higher crime.
Hey, what's up, Hounds?
Hey, Ryan.
You hear me okay?
You're fine.
Yeah.
Nice. I thought this was Braves after party.
It was.
Who are these people up here?
It was
initially showed up.
Yeah, it was. None of y'all showed up.
I didn't even watch Braves thing. I was on Sharon's chat, and they time me out everything I say. If they don't agree, they time me out. So CT was on there. Did you guys see that?
This.
Talking about what?
Apparently, Officer Tatum got attacked by a group of Antifa members.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, he showed up after they were already being attacked, and then he just kind of stepped in to
intimidating because no one else did.
Right, but they weren't attacking him.
No matter
what, everyone being arrested. Hopefully,
in my personal life, I agree with Bumpkin about the Black and White Alliance, Fascism Alliance. All right, we need strong people like Tatum.
You just gotta play it, and you'll see. It's. I mean, you can see it in the video.
Well, we need more people like Bumpkin and Tatum to go out and smash Antifa skulls.
Hey Tatum, my DMs are always open, buddy. Let's run this shit. I'll show you how SEO does it.
I've never seen an Antifa people in a crowd, or I didn't even know who they were, what they did.
Antifa,
They're like insane. They're jumping around like wild out. They're insane.
Are cowardly drug addicts by and large. That and cute misled girls.
I don't even know what they stand for. They just seem crazy. Like, yeah, like they're on drugs. That's what it looks like. They're just running around like wild, and it's just like, what is happening? Anyway, okay, you can play it. Anyways, I'll stop talking.
All right. A woman stop talking? I don't believe.
Oh.
I'm just playing.
I'm gonna give you the silent treatment now.
Most of them are this.
No.
The compilation. I said collage compilation. So this is get a little, and I'll walk you through the context of what you're looking at because it's not very clear if you wasn't there. But what I'm looking at now, if it plays from here, this is the second time this group of nut jobs showed up on campus, and they hit this lady in the head, the one that's right here. We got a video of them coming and hitting her in the back of the head in front of the cops, and then you're gonna see me walk over to the cops and be like, "Bro, they just hit her in the head, and y'all not gonna do anything?" And then I had to step up because the women were there, and I didn't know if they were gonna come and try to beat the women up and do stuff to them. We'll see. He wrote a clip.
Watch out. Watch out. Hey, slow down. Hey, Jackson, slow down. Get back. Get in there. Get in there.
Oh, they took the canopy. They're just taking it.
Yeah,
This is
it's
the second
weird.
time
It's
they came to
stupid.
campus. And they watched them walk up after they had already done what you finna see in a minute. And then they did all this, hit that lady in the head, and they don't pursue not one of these people. They don't go after the weakest one. They don't even give commands or they did absolutely nothing.
Where did this take place?
Roll the clip.
What I've been
Davis.
trying to, that's
UC
UC Davis.
Davis.
What city is that in?
Okay, that's in California.
Yeah, UC
I-
Davis is.
I think in northern.
They're not gonna do anything. The cops don't care.
Well, it's
California, man. They
California.
don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's what
They don't care. It's the liberals will win. They'll get all things.
Well,
They're not going to get
it's not-
anything.
It's not that they don't care. It's that their constituents are anti-police and everything, so they gotta like kind of cater to them.
Yeah.
That's why we fold everything into the sheriff's office, because the sheriff's office is
All right, $20 just hit. Gambling is back on.
No. See, it's better. Let California burn. Who cares? Let
Yeah.
the lawlessness destroy the place.
Well,
People will
there's
move.
innocent people there, though. You gotta kind
Well,
of care about
They
all
should
people.
move. When they get
Well,
tired of
little kids, you know,
Not
They'll
to
move.
old
mention, not to
ladies,
mention isn't
single moms.
California like a huge economic hub?
yeah.
Well,
Not
Here's
everybody can just move. Be realistic.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I love I love Ryan to death, but Ryan is one of those white guys that's like, you know what? I got something to lose. We don't fight. We give in to white flight, and I mean, this is why I preach against it so fervently. Eventually there just gets to be nowhere you can go, and your back is in the wall. So I mean, like, and honestly, we're at that point in modern history. There is nowhere you can go where these leftist hordes will not follow you.
But
True,
the California
true.
voters don't agree with you. So it doesn't matter because they're getting what they want. Most, but I mean,
Well, see, here's the
Well-
thing. Here's the thing.
majority, obviously.
If it was the sheriff, you would get your constitutional rights protected, whether they agree with it or not. But
But you
because-
said the sheriff has
because-
control of their own protocol.
Let's take for example.
Okay, hold on,
Baltimore.
wait. Blue Jay. Do you understand that protocol?
Ryan, am I missing something?
Yes, you are. Protocol is not what they do. It's not.
It's the handbook of how they
Yeah, it's
handle
literally
situations.
it involves the way the police work, not what
Right.
their job is. Their job.
Also, their
job
steps. Their
When-
steps on
that
de-escalation and
that doesn't mean that they're not allowed. That the protocol doesn't matter. The protocol is whether you can shoot somebody, whether you can put your foot on their neck.
right.
that's not that the protocol of a departmental protocol has nothing to do with whether they are beholden to the Constitution or not. That's where you're.
Well, they don't arrest people for property damage. Obviously, look at their.
It's not about the
homeless people.
Constitution.
They construct entire little cities under the bypasses. Like
Ryan.
they don't have that law, so these people would have to like civilly sue them for their property.
The sheriff's office in your local county.
I know what you're saying. I've gotten that.
It to Ryan
That's
because
sunk in now. I get that
Ryan,
part.
He's not here. He wasn't here.
I get what you're saying about
Yeah,
the
but
sheriff
Ryan,
has full
I'm
power. I
explaining-
understand it.
Blue Jay, I'm explaining it to Ryan. He wasn't here.
Oh, I thought Ryan knows.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
sorry. I thought you were talking to me.
The sheriffs in your local area, the sheriff's department, is the only constitutional law enforcement. It's the only law enforcement that should be allowed via the Constitution.
And why is that?
Because they're elected law enforcement officials who are then deputized.
go
It's in
ahead.
the Constitution. The police departments are not. Police departments, many cases, are either the chief of police is either appointed, and when it is elected, they have different rules and they have different rules that they're beholden to. The sheriff's office in your local county is beholden to the Constitution. The municipality's police department is not.
They're also uploading city
But the
law and not
Constitution-
constitutional law.
Bingo. There's state laws and statutes that, and often the federal government says, "Hey, the states really run the place." True.
Your sheriff, your local sheriff is not a federal employee; it's a state employee. His job.
I'm well aware of that.
And by the way, your state has to ratify the U.S. Constitution, Ryan. So your state constitution is the federal constitution.
Why are you so against the cops? I mean, just
I'm against cops. Yes, I'm not against the sheriff's department,
Which are cops.
which are law enforcement.
So you're going to
Okay,
elect
no, there-
all the sheriffs.
There is a range that they have to choose from, and they're in that range now. But what you're trying to say is that they would have to maximize the law. If anything, they're going to go lenient because they're more held accountable for going too far, not far. Like, if they were to start hitting people with beanbags and someone got brain damage, rather than just say, okay, we're going to keep watch for a minute and then we're going to disperse everybody, they're still going to do that if they have a sheriff too, if that's California and that's their mindset. I don't understand how...
In California, the sheriff's office is
will be elected.
Is more. It doesn't matter who's elected.
Who's electing him though? People that are kind of hands-off, police light law punishment.
And guess what? They still elect the sheriff to do a certain job, and they expect it to get done. In California,
right, but their idea of a job
if you're on a
is how they
federal
want it
highway,
done.
so if you're on a federal highway with an Uzi and you're just spraying everybody, does the sheriff handle that, or does the state cops or federal cops?
Well,
you're getting into jurisdiction overlap.
Hold on. Because if it's a state highway, it'll be depending on what county it's in. It'll be that county's sheriff and the state patrol. The state patrol are also constitutionally allowed. They just are there to protect the roadways, and that's their job.
I just don't see how, if you're being voted for, you obviously have to tell people what you're going to stand for, how you want to run
the sheriff has the ability to deputize anybody they want.
The people are going to vote for the sheriff that has their mindset. So if there's one that's really strict, like Texas, and one that's like more lax, like California, they're going to vote for the one that has the more California liberal mindset.
That's the thing. By and large, sheriffs do not allow this shit to happen. Even when they're in liberal areas.
Then that's what I said, is that there's not like a strict code of conduct. It's still within their discretion as to how they set up the department.
And I'm agreeing with you. But the thing is, when it's a sheriff, because they are constitutionally held liable if they fail their job, they can have.
So you're saying
everybody is constitutionally liable.
No, Ryan, that is not at all what I'm saying. That's dumb
they are obviously within the Constitution, even if it's not to the max level that we would like to see it, or you would like to see it, or whatever. But they're obviously not going against the Constitution. I mean,
yes,
they're
they are
still
going
under judicial law.
They are going against the Constitution. They are allowing these police officers are allowing one group to stop the constitutional rights of another group. That is fundamentally un-American. But because I'm a National Socialist or I'm a fascist, the same group of fucking retards you see carrying away someone else's property will say I'm un-American. But I understand the Constitution. I believe in the Constitution.
I get that.
That's why I'm fundamentally opposed to these people and any fucking retard that would issue a stand-down order against them.
Okay, that's what I was saying. What would you have just told them to leave? Because I don't think trying to arrest.
I would have ordered the use of live ammunition. I hate Antifa.
Yeah, that's crazy though. You can't do that in every situation like that. Everybody would be dead.
Anytime I run into Antifa,
it has to happen in sentencing. So if you do stupid shit, you go to jail for a long time.
Any blood tribe, neo-Nazis, any retard that doesn't understand the Constitution and thinks that they have a right to do violence to other people, because even though I am a National Socialist and a fascist, I'm an American National Socialist and fascist. I believe in our Constitution, and I am authoritarian. So if I were sheriff or even if I was police chief, I would order the use of live ammunition against these people.
So if someone is mad at their boyfriend and they key their car, do they deserve to get shot too? Because you got to be consistent.
That's totally different.
So keying someone's car is the same as, let's say, what
tearing
Antifa
down
did.
their tent, carrying their tent across the line.
No, because
it's property damage, according to.
But here's the thing: an angry girlfriend keying her boyfriend's car, he either cheated on her or did something stupid to. Or either she's fucking crazy.
The cops
no.
About that shit.
Oh, okay. Well, let's look it down from the
cops
crime,
don't
right?
Care about,
there are two crimes
drama.
being committed. There are two crimes being committed here, Blue Jay. You have the property damage, right? No really big deal. The big fucking crime is denying someone their civil liberties and starting a fucking riot.
Okay. Civil liberty is also the right to own property and protect that property.
Yeah, but
let me just give you a scenario.
Blue Jay, there is a difference. There is a difference between stopping somebody from having their constitutional right with the force of violence versus you keying your ex-boyfriend's car.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I'm going to put in the same scenario as close. So say your boyfriend, you, and he's called the cops because you've threatened to key the car. The cop pulls that. He says, "Don't key that car," and you do it right in front of him. Should he shoot you to stop you?
I mean, if he can't, if he's too weak, if you're being belligerent and he's too weak to tackle you and arrest you, yeah.
He can't wait till you're not keying the car, and then that guy can sue you, and then you can be given a ticket for vandalism or whatever. Like that's Blue Jay, the Constitution, not killing people.
If you keyed your boyfriend's car and a cop said, "All right, put your hands behind your back," are you gonna put your hands behind your back or are you gonna fight him?
Yeah, but they're not gonna arrest you for that.
Yeah, they would arrest you for keying someone's car.
I don't know. It depends on where you're at.
They should arrest you for that.
They will.
Everywhere?
They will. Yes, they will arrest you for that.
Why don't they? Do they arrest people for like tagging and like spraying and like tagging up buildings and shit?
A lot of the time, and they do in these big cities where that's a problem.
Oh, okay. Oh, I grew up. It was everywhere.
It's usually about nobody was in if it's over $1,000 worth of damage. It's all about valuation.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
And it's also about how much is happening. If it's just the whole city like filled with every cement wall is tagged up, I mean, they're not gonna just sit and watch and arrest every single kid. It's all about.
It also depends if it's gang related and you're caught directly doing it.
Yeah, no, I mean.
But look, I think we're conflating a few things. So we're a representative democracy. We vote in our people, your congressman or your local whoever. And then they actually decide what laws and et cetera, right? And then they typically assign responsibilities by way of, they pick appointed people that are ratified by your other people voted in to choose the police, right?
No.
So the only way to affect that, well, that's at your state level. Your state house does that. State police.
No.
Well, every
sentencing
has a range.
The state police
has a range of punishment.
Hold on, Blue Jay.
Okay.
Well, specific to law enforcement, not judiciary, but like law enforcement.
The state police, yes. But your sheriff is elected by his constituency in his county, and then he deputizes people under him.
Yeah, if it doesn't change his mindset, they'll follow suit because there's a range. Let me speak, please. Just let me finish my sentence real quick. So, like, every crime has a range, right? Like, say it's 10 to 25, whatever crime you have done, right? So then the judge, depending on if you're first offender, what the kind of the norm is in that area, how it's looked upon, and the case law, they're going to give you somewhere in that range, and it might be the lowest or the max, but that's up to the judge's discretion, just like the sheriff. So they can put their statutes and protocols on the low end of the range. Like the low end of the range for tearing down someone's property probably is just following to make sure they don't harm anybody, and then maybe documenting it so they can try to get compensation or something. I don't know, but that's probably still within their legal framework, is what I'm saying, even now.
Yeah, but there are jurisdictions, Baltimore City being one of them, literally does nothing to prosecute crimes. They don't arrest anybody, and that's why people are abandoning the place in droves. And in San Francisco, people have abandoned that place. And people leave when there's, like on Maslow's pyramid, safety and security are right at the bottom. It's like one of the first things you got to deal with, right? If people are scared, they're not going to go shopping in the city. They're not going to work in the city. They're going to avoid it. So,
but over
my
half
whole
the
thing to
people
Orthodox
voted
is
for that, right? Over half the people. So the people.
The citizens of Baltimore City continue to vote themselves into destruction.
Right.
Because
So
you've
it's
seen a
still
flight of capital,
constitutional.
money. They're fucking leaving, right?
Right.
And that's why I'm like, hey, you guys asked for this. That's why they're like, it's white flight. No. Blacks leave too. Everyone's leaving because you fucking don't arrest the criminals.
But not
And
everyone.
look,
Less than half.
So
The
when
minority
those
is leaving.
when those people run away from the cities that they've created, and they form voting blocks in other cities, should we just leave them too because they begin to outnumber people?
Those people
that's
aren't
exactly
leaving.
what that's exactly what you're saying without
Those
saying.
people are not leaving. Those people that voted
so-
for those lenient policies would be the ones that would go protest if the Antifa people did get arrested. That's their constituents.
And then Orthodox, if they leave, they're like, hey, this sucks. I voted the wrong way. I liked all this terror that was going on. Fuck this. I got to move to the county, like Baltimore County, where they're hard on crimes. So usually they leave for change, right?
No.
So, but
they don't make that connection. They're not that smart.
Change. They don't leave for change. They take their retarded. You can laugh. You can laugh.
They will continue to vote Democrat, and they will never put two and two
she's
together.
Right. She's right. Because the same dumb motherfuckers that leave and go to Texas from California, guess what? They're the reason that California or Texas is turning blue.
It's not.
They almost blame it on like a white supremacy. No, they think that in those areas it's because it's racist and stuff, and so that's why that it's so chaotic. And they don't have. They'll still vote Democrat. He's right. They will. People come from California to Utah and they vote Democrat, and Arizona's now blue. I think
everywhere these people leave, everywhere these people go to, they vote blue. We have in Georgia, we have a bunch of Californians coming over here. We have a bunch of people coming down from New York, and guess what? They vote blue. And by the way, Ryan, demographics. If you study the demographics of Texas, the voting demographics specifically, it is turning blue. Steadily, slowly but surely.
Okay.
Well, Ryan, have you noticed a lot of people? Go ahead.
There's been a shift. However, it hasn't turned blue. It's still red, and Florida's red, and a lot of at the last election, all the swing states went red. Like, so at the end of the day, I know there are Democrats moving there and bringing some of their liberal bullshit with them, but it hasn't turned. So I don't think
you're going to have a fair amount of families that kind of changed into conservatives, but he's talking about the single, like the more higher, maybe IT jobs and stuff that are liberal colleges. They're still liberal. They just think they don't even believe there's more crime in those cities. They just think that the people are targeted by the police, and that's why it shows up on the stats looking like it's more crime.
My issue with you, Ryan, and even when we're on Be Braves, right, is your ideology leads to something that I also hate, much like communism, is reactionaries. I hate reactionaries because here's the thing: you should have been proactive to stop this shit from happening. Reactionaries come about after something shitty has already happened. I want to prevent the shittiness from happening.
Yeah, but your proposal for that is mob violence, essentially.
Hold on, wait, and this isn't mob violence. This isn't mob violence.
They're just walking. They let them take all of our property.
How do you?
In 2020. Okay, go ahead.
How do you stop that? My solution is use the sheriff's department or a militia and put it the fuck down.
Well, that would normally be law enforcement in a normal society. Law enforcement would go in and bust heads, which is what I propose.
No.
And
The only
I
way
agree
is
with
if
you.
there was one way of doing it by the Constitution. There's not. So there's that range, and
Well, no,
you're still going to get the
is one-
sheriffs having a range of approaches from very lenient to very strict. It's not going to change.
Blue,
So yeah,
there is one constitutional way of doing it, and that is just putting a stop to it by any means necessary.
So there's not like a range of options in terms of sentencing or de-escalating.
There's always a range of options to go through.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to use the lowest or the highest.
I'm pragmatic. Antifa. How many years has Antifa been a problem? Going on 10 years now.
Okay, so what does the Constitution say here?
They've gotten nothing but more bold and more violent, and they are impeding.
According to the Constitution, what you're saying is they broke. Can you show us where in the Constitution, like the cops here, by not doing anything, where it says that they are unconstitutional? I don't know. Like I haven't read the whole thing, but
they're literally trying to use force to stop people from utilizing their First Amendment. That's what makes Antifa unconstitutional. That's what makes the police
okay. So I don't know what you're talking about. Antifa is in and of itself as an organization is not unconstitutional. Their actions may be against the law, but how is Antifa unconstitutional as an organization? What are they doing that's unconstitutional?
Okay, hold on.
Right, they're making petty crimes.
Hold on. Right. I'm gonna mute everybody, and I'm going to explain my position without interruption. I didn't say Antifa or any organization is unconstitutional. What I said is this bullshit right here. That shit right there is unconstitutional. And when you are part of a group or organization that is doing unconstitutional practices, it is up to law enforcement to stop you by any means necessary because you are impeding the rights of your fellow citizens.
They are not technically being stopped.
I'm not done. I will let you and Ryan go when I'm done. When you are stopping your fellow citizens from engaging in their constitutional rights, you have not only committed a felony, you have shown yourself to be an enemy to the Constitution, and you must be stopped by any means necessary. It does not matter if you share my political ideas, or you share Antifa's political ideas, or you're a libertarian. You must be stopped, and the only way to stop some group like Antifa that's been around for 10 years and steadily been emboldened and increasing their attacks is through physical violence. That is my point. All right,
okay. Go. I just have one question. So technically, wouldn't it have to be an authority of some sort that's stifling people's free speech? Because yes, there's a petty crime against them. They tore down their tent. They hit one lady. He should be charged with assault, whatever. But technically, they're still able to speak. They're still able to move around. They're not technically being withheld from their constitutional rights to that degree. There's petty crime taking place. They can still yell, speak their mind. That would be... That means that authorities cannot stifle you.
No, so no. The Constitution does not just apply to the government at all. The Constitution applies to everyone. All right? This whole libertarian notion that libertarians have pushed that the Constitution only means for the government.
No. Look, that's not what I said. Let me just clarify before you go off on that. You're going to go off on something I didn't say. What I'm saying is the right to assemble, it can't be stopped by your city, the mayor, like some political figure, right? But when they're in the park like that and they're just kind of being like, kind of intimidated and their property is, yes, that's a crime, petty, damages, yes. But they're not technically taking away their right to assemble or their freedom of speech.
Yes, they are. They're using terrorism
they're not.
and violence. Boojay, if I punch you in the face for talking in politics,
I'm not talking about the assault. Right? I'm not talking about the assault. I saw one lady get hit. I'm talking about, yes, they are storming them.
They're storming,
but they're not stopping them from assembling.
They are literally using force to stop them from speaking, to stop them from assembling. That is And that's what I was going to go off on. Because it is not just the government that can't do that. Other citizens and other organizations formed by citizens cannot stop people. And that's exactly what they're doing.
When their right to defend themselves kicks in. That's their right to defend themselves.
And that's why I say we should shoot them. Ding, ding.
No, I'm not talking about the police interference. We're talking about the people's right.
Turning Point USA should have AR-15s. They should have started shooting the motherfuckers.
Well, that might be a bad idea in California, but okay, I see what you're saying. If they felt their life was in danger and it was imminent threat of death, and they had to shoot them, then yeah. But I don't think that's necessarily like the case here. But just for the sake of argument, if it was a stand your ground state like the Texas thing, that's different. But you can't have a gun in California. So anytime you defend yourself with an illegal weapon, you automatically lose the right to claim self-defense.
The point in the matter.
Can I respond at some point?
Yeah. You can go right after I say this. You can go right after I say this. My point is, Blue Jay, is they are using intimidation on the Constitution of other people. Ryan, you go. I'm not brave. I'm an authoritarian. I don't care if you ever speak.
You're right. As an American citizen, there are duties that come with rights too, by the way. We don't just have rights, we have duties. I believe that if you're going to assemble, if you have a right to assemble, which they claim, you have a right to assemble. Yeah, but you don't in the middle of a Joint Chiefs of Staff meeting. You don't have a right to assemble in a prison, right? So wherever you do assemble, you should have to apply for a permit to do so, of which your name and the organizers of the event should be on paper as to these people assembled, this event, right? It should be just like you got to register a gun, you got to register for a protest. So in my opinion, they just have these fucking protests, lay down in traffic, do all this bullshit. And I want to see those areas carpet bombed, frankly, because I don't like Antifa, I don't like liberals, etc. Okay, no one's accountable when it gets out of hand. If you make people sign up for the protest, things stay under control. And then if you punch a woman, you should get a mandatory. If you hurt a woman, you hit a woman in the face for no reason, unprovoked or provoked, you're not allowed to hit people. That guy should go to jail for 5 years. Pretty simple. Assault and battery, 5 years, and civil penalty. But what's going to happen is he's not even going to get arrested. He probably won't get any jail time or nothing. He'll get probation or, you just had a rough childhood. So if you make the penalties for bad behavior stiff, people won't do the shit. It's real simple. And make the protest organizers responsible to a degree for the actions of the protesters.
That's only
it's easy.
That's only ever one-sided, Ryan.
You guys are only putting it in the situation of you guys are. You have to do all assault then. So domestic violence, 5 years, everybody. You guys are taking it out of the category of assault and trying to tie it to the event. The assault charge has its own rules and regulations. So yes, it happened at an event, but it shouldn't have a higher punishment because they're part of Antifa.
Actually,
whatever when they get in a fight at the bar or they hit their girlfriend or two friends, whatever happened, that whatever those punishments
that is not
I fully agree.
That
is not how our justice system works.
You can't make exceptions because of your feelings.
You can because that's how our justice system works. Our justice system
not on feelings. It's statute.
It's not on feelings. It's on intent.
It's case law. Unless you can find a bunch of other people that barely stalked a lady and she didn't even get hurt 5 years. While another lady's on life support because her husband beat the shit out of her and he gets 6 months. How are you going to rectify that to your people?
Also wrong.
Explain that because you don't like Antifa?
Antifa, Blue Jay, our legal system works on intent. Antifa had the intent to terrorize and stop somebody from their constitution.
So that's a whole different thing. That's not the assault charge.
No, if a man.
All I was stating was.
If a man.
Not to get too specific into.
If a man assaults his girlfriend for keying his car, his intent is to defend his property. Yeah, he's still insulting.
I'm talking about a wife beater.
Well, if the man's intent is to just be a piece of shit wife beater, then guess what? He gets a different. His intent is to be a piece of shit wife beater, and he gets punishment.
So he gets 6 months, right?
His intent is to not. His intent is not to kill her. So
his intent wasn't to kill that lady either. Here's the thing: you have to be able to make it make sense to people. There has to be a rationale.
You just don't understand. You don't.
I do. I think that someone putting their wife in life support and getting 6 months, and then at a rally, someone kind of runs by and she doesn't even have a scratch. He shouldn't get 5 years because
that should never happen.
It happened at a rally. So you have to be able to explain to the public why you gave this guy 6 months and this guy 5 years when clearly the bodily harm was very different.
They should both get a lot of jail time.
Yeah,
I don't think
California. You can't just suddenly pop out of nowhere and just put this guy away for 5 years. That's what I'm saying. You have to follow precedent.
Okay, but it's a stupid state with stupid people voting for stupid laws.
That's irrelevant, though. They vote for it, so their people are speaking, and that's what they want.
Okay. Okay. I'm starting to get annoyed going around in circles. I'll bring you back up in a second. Aaron, how are you doing today?
I left to get some chicken wings and came back.
I'm going to say this, our legal system works with intent. Antifa's intent is to terrorize and stop people from exercising their constitutional rights. And Blue Jay, I'm going to let you up in a minute. I had to take a break from the circular argumentation. It was making me angry. A man beating his wife or his girlfriend. For one, why the fuck is she still with him if it happens one time already? That's a personal choice and a bad choice on her end. It doesn't justify it. I don't think it's okay. But you cannot conflate an assault of man or woman beating their significant other with an organization that is a borderline terrorist organization stopping fellow citizens from exercising their rights. And you're right, it is case law and precedent. And the precedent says that those are different crimes and there are different prison sentences associated with those different crimes and even the variations within the same crimes. If you assault somebody with the intent to stop them from exercising their constitutional right, you're going to do 15 years if the DA or your even decides to prosecute. If these were neo-Nazis, they would be using tear gas and beating the shit out of the crowd. All right, I'm gonna bring y'all up. I'm gonna bring y'all back up. I'm sorry for being rude and being mean and having to bring y'all down, but this circular argumentation was giving me a headache.
All right,
go ahead.
All right, so be brave. You stuck me in the back like be brave, like fucking be brave. You had to do it.
Fascist.
Be fucking brave. I'm all brave.
I'm fascist.
I don't know how you guys go to Be Brave show. He's so weird.
He just sticks me in the back for days. I'm like,
no, I'm not gonna do that. I didn't like having to do that. I was just getting a really big headache with us talking over.
I don't think he's hateful, but he is a legit white supremacist, like to the core.
No, that's me. I am. Be Brave is just an angry old man.
Yeah, he literally thinks white people are like perfect, but I don't think he hates black people, but he clearly thinks white people are better. It's
what's
like,
really weird about it.
He's so serious too. It's so strange.
Let me tell you what's weird, Blue Jay. Mm-hmm. After talking to him and understanding his perspective, this is going to sound crazy. I don't think he's actually a racist. I think he is he's upset that a lot of these crimes almost by zip code, right? Like certain zip codes.
No, I've heard him a lot. I get it. I don't think he's racist either. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think he dislikes.
I think there's a difference between racist and white supremacist because racism includes hate. I don't think he hates white people. I just think he truly believes that white people are have it all figured out and they're so peaceful and so evolved and so understand. I don't know. It's just funny, and I don't care. I think people have their right.
It's weird, right?
I don't care if people have black pride or whatever, or
when I was a white
Asian pride.
I ran into people like Brave, where you couldn't question white people. It's not even that white people are perfect. It's because Ryan, whenever you and I talk about the ills of white people, Brave shuts that shit down. A lot of white nationalists.
He's a tether too. You know that his dad was a full-grown man from Hungary when he came to the United States.
White people start using the word tether
because I don't like people Be Brave to represent how white Americans feel about black people when his dad comes from Hungary as a grown man, and that's who raised him. He probably stayed around white people that probably didn't speak English at first. He probably did have racism because they're kind of racist in those Eastern European countries. So yeah, I don't necessarily like him speaking for all white people, to be honest. That's the tether. I don't
Here's
either.
his frustration.
But
right?
if I was black, I'd be really offended too. I mean, it's like you can have your beliefs, but like, okay, you gotta like be so. You want us to say admit it too? I mean, I don't. If someone thinks that black people are better, cool. But if they keep telling me that to say it out, I think black people are better too. I'm gonna start getting annoyed, right? It's like I don't care what you think, but I mean, just don't force it on other people. And that's
well, I tried to tell him say some. He doesn't say it, like some. But here's the truth. I told him, like I said, look,
believes it.
Man, I don't think he understands that like black people are in the middle class and upper class, and he thinks they're all just in the ghetto. And I'm like, no, dude. Like that, if you look at the statistics, and the fact that a large number in the South, which typically it's cheaper to live, right? So in other words, statistically speaking, like they're doing better than fucking. Black Americans are doing better than the country of Portugal
white trash
and Spain.
People are scumbags.
They're doing great.
I have a whole side of my family that's white trash. They're not peaceful, great to live around. They have domestic violence. They have drugs. They have crime. They steal. They're in gangs too.
That's what I try to tell Brave. That's what I try to tell Brave because I am white.
But there are.
Yeah, I mean, all my friends.
There are. You don't see
poor area. All the white people were poor too. And
you don't see the violent crime numbers, right?
All right.
So he has an argument.
Ryan, right quick. A couple people in the chat are wanting us to finish this video since we barely started on it. So just to
we're gonna watch the video in just a second.
All right.
And I'm gonna address Chris's comment. Of course, there is no supreme race, but if there was, I bet all the other people would want to live in their countries and want their women. I've said very similar things in groups and around people who like want to have racial kumbaya stuff, and they want to disparage white people, and they start going on about white people or about the culture war, and they throw that out the window. Like there's nobody really trying to go anywhere other than European or white countries.
They're all wrong though. I mean, I go by the Bible, and the Bible does not say anywhere in there to say you're better and I don't worry about offending people. Anybody chosen. I don't believe any of that in the New Testament. Like all that out. Everybody is. We're all the same, and that's like to me. So it goes against my belief. So I just ignore it.
I don't believe in racial supremacy either, but I get accused of it because I say this. I agree with that statement, and people accuse me of racial supremacy when my belief is each race evolved in different environments and in specific niches. Whether those niches are needed now, we can debate. But
Black Americans have a history here that is understandably going to carry, depending on the family, that what they're told about things and how to feel. I mean, you can understand that there's why people will have this, like, but not a hatred. I don't get the hatred. I can see kind of
the hatred.
Maybe a sad, sorrowful. Yeah, because then at that point you're becoming a hypocrite because you were judging people for being hateful and now you're being hateful. So it's like you can't.
What I decided from being a white nationalist and being somebody who grew up around black folks, what I decided is every person, regardless of their group or their affiliation, they want something out of the deal. They don't want to better the situation for their race or their people. They just want to be the elites. And I'm going to play the video. We're going to stop
I was going to say real quick, one sentence. I'm like nationalist, okay? I don't care what race you're, but if you are for America and you're a patriot, cool. If you're not, we're not getting along. Like, that's it.
Exactly, Ryan. Americans discuss racial grievances while China produces 9 times more engineers than us.
Yeah. And that's why we're in trouble.
This is the second time they came to campus, and they watched them walk up after they had already done what you finna see in a minute, and then they did all this, hit that lady in the head, and they don't pursue not one of these people. They don't go after the weakest one. They don't even give commands or not. They did absolutely nothing. Roll the clip. They just walking. They let them take all of our property.
Can I say something, Ryan, while this is playing?
This is what they did before I got there.
I was just commenting on, right, Ryan, you said China has 9 times, well, how many times more people do they have? They have 1 billion people. I mean, they have like 9 times more people at least, right?
God damn it. Can we please finish this video before we go on into another discussion?
Hi, Gary, and chill.
Sorry, I've just been sitting here
Well,
for the
you
past
have to-
20-something minutes.
You can't just play it through. He's a big content creator. You have to like pause it every, I don't know, I get all copyrights all the time. Lionel told me you gotta go like 30 seconds or something. I mean, whatever.
It depends on if he himself copyright strikes it. I doubt he would.
Honestly, I don't think he would.
Because like, even if he disagrees with me or doesn't like me for my politics, right? We're both in agreement on this about Antifa. I don't think
Well, it's not like he
would go
goes
out
through and decides. It's like after a certain amount of length, it triggers their like algorithm or whatever, and then it sometimes automatically flags you. It's not like he's like, I guess I like that guy.
It gives him the option to go through with it or not.
He only has millions of followers. I mean, okay, all right.
I was on the phone with the Turning Point guy, and I said, "Hey man, where y'all at on campus? Because we can't drive up. I'm gonna have to get out and walk." And he like, "Hey, the protesters, they're attacking us." And he hung up in my face. I'm like, "That's weird. I guess the protest's gonna be good today." I didn't realize they did all this. Roll the clip.
Hey! Hey! Wow!
Look.
Hey, get the cops here! Get the cops!
Look at him. Look, throwing stuff at people.
It's pointless. I can't even understand them.
Look, what are they doing to that man? All right, hold on. Pause it. Because y'all finna see me in action again.
Do y'all want to hear my sound? Y'all want to hear my speech?
Yeah.
Whenever Antifa starts going to our streets.
Ask Gary if it's okay. Just kidding, Gary.
Did you hear that?
I did. You don't, Blue Jay. I would please like you to not be petty. I'd appreciate
it. Was a joke.
I know.
I'm with people. I was like, I was just playing.
I'm just saying.
To like brush over it.
Whenever you hear Antifa marching speeches, just remind you this is what's going. This is my reply. That's just my reply. I don't know.
What are they even saying? I can't even understand them.
They're saying whose university? Our university. It's been an Antifa battle cry since the 1930s. Who's streets? Our streets. And I'm just gonna go brown shirts on them.
I just don't see like they're not asking for anything. All they're doing is like kicking like and stomping on things. It's like they look like little kids. You know, it's not doing any good.
Well,
it's funny.
They're rich kids. They're rich politicians and rich liberals' children. But we're gonna finish the video.
Okay.
8 more minutes.
Okay.
First of all, just so y'all know, these were the weakest. I can smell the soy powder on these fools. They weak, incel, non-binaries. The weakest people on earth. Honest to God truth, if they had decided to become physical, I could have knocked out 6 of them easy. One by one. But they weren't throwing punches at me. So I'm just pushing them out of the way. Get out of the way. Get away from us. Because they came in there and they destroyed property and they stole all our stuff. So here's another view of me where I'm talking to the cop. I said, they just punched the girl in the face. Are y'all going to do anything?
He like a head taller. And
as you can see, the young lady started walking back towards the crowd. So I walked with her. Off camera, I tried to push them away from our stuff because they were going to steal it all. And 4 of them fell down like little cowards. And then the one non-binary, trinary, or whatever it is, with the bike was talking crazy and being threatening. And I just had to, let them know that soul will come out of you.
You dunked on.
You bitch around with the wrong people. Roller.
It's hilarious. He does look kind of hot.
Hit the whole crowd of them. And then that little one was talking crazy.
God damn.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Right,
roll
so
that back.
funny.
Roll that back. She fucking flew, man.
Look how fast they get up too. It's weird.
Little one was
Like
talking crazy.
Bro, you can see the fucking force.
She might hit the whole
It's
crowd.
so good.
And then that little one was talking crazy.
right.
Man, you better get your weight up, bro. Go back. Look at that part.
That's why I need to watch his video. Like
Put
he's
that
like so
T-force
joyous
on.
about it. It's so
You
funny.
better get your weight up. Then they started trying to talk. Look, they just pointing a finger at me. Man, get back. All right.
The lady in the red, she got like lice or something?
No, that's the lady that got hit in the head.
Could you hear the person videoing? They're like, "What?" They start laughing.
Yeah, she got dunked on the dome earlier.
Look at him. Look at him scurrying back. I could have took half of them easy.
Oh, they took the whole
They were
fucking
all
canopy.
super weak and soft.
They're
Now,
like they're just moving.
I'm not
It's so
condone-
stupid.
I'm not the person to condone violence, but I do condone defending yourself. And I do condone you defending other people. That police officer in me can't just die down when people are just assaulting people and stealing property. Some people say I was the only officer on duty that day. Now, let me say this. After all that, at first we were going to pick up shop and leave because I couldn't guarantee that the video guys wouldn't get attacked again. Now, I know I'm good, but I didn't know if they would get attacked. So then they put a bunch of cops around us and we were able to continue the event. And the cops are not going to do nothing anyway. They were just there. You know what I'm saying? And then the weenies were afraid of the cops, and then the other ones left the campus. But it was very, very disheartening to me that the next generation of people that got to work in America, which we all know they're going to end up creating universal income, and these nut jobs that have no education, that cannot have a disagreement with somebody without being violent and cussing and spitting and being crazy. They're going to be the ones getting universal income because they have no skill to do anything in the workforce. It was embarrassing and sad that most of the people that were surrounding us, I don't know how all the people on campus felt because they weren't there, but most of the people surrounding us couldn't even have a coherent conversation. I had one guy tell me that police officers kill 90,000 people a year. Do you know how insane that is? 90,000 a year. I said, bro, look it up on your phone. If they killed 90,000 people a year, I'd be upset. 90,000. I think he said 90,000 black people a year.
Oh my God.
And then they go off on this tangent because the cops I was standing near the cops and they were like, the cops kill you. I said, how many cops kill black people unarmed? 50,000, 60. I said 14. 14 is still a lot. I said, you know how many black people in America?
Still a lot.
46 million. That's 0.000125%. Some crazy number. You get struck by lightning twice in a row before you get killed by a police officer doing nothing. But I had to continue to let my voice heard. We finished the event. We pushed through it because we're not going to let these Antifa nut jobs get the best of us. UC Davis should be ashamed of themselves as a university that they cannot protect free speech on campus.
They should definitely sue UC Davis.
Why? That just makes schools have to charge more.
I wholeheartedly believe they won't, though. How long ago
Why
did
should
this
they
happen?
have to do
5
that?
days ago?
How is it their fault?
Because UC Davis allows this ideology and grows and fosters it on their campus.
Oh my gosh.
They can't.
That's
They can't.
You can't.
It could have been because the big black
freedom.
man was there. The reason why they didn't want to go further. once I pushed the crowd of them and I pushed the other one down and the soul almost came out, they probably thought twice about, oh crap, we're not ready for a conflict.
No, they saw your big ass. That's what.
They don't have
right on the bike
that's going to protect anybody. These people could come off campus with a gun. How do they know? They could come off campus with other weapons, knives, and stab us. The cops weren't going to do anything. We would have just been stabbed. Then they would have did something after they stabbed us up. That's why this was very, very ridiculous. What's the other clip we have?
Well, Ryan, are you still on the panel?
I saw him on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm here. Why?
Right.
And I said,
you're in finance, like you understand loss prevention. There's going to be some mistakes, right? Like people can't expect the cops to be perfect. I'd say if I trust his number 14 out of what do you say, 46 million, and obviously not everybody was trying to be arrested by the cops, but that's a low. He said 14 unarmed black men were killed by the police last year.
Yeah, roughly.
But what I'm saying is, you understand loss. There's going to be some mistakes, like in any organization, in any kind of system. Like you have to have loss prevention. Unfortunately,
approximately the same.
There's going to be some people that are killed.
Numbers. There's 1,000 people killed a year by cops, approximately, of which most of them are have weapons and they're involved in shooting. Approximately the same number of whites and blacks are killed by cops. So it's usually like the same, 10 and 10, 15 and 15. If you extrapolate it out for the fact that, well, it's small, but also
they have billions of interactions a year. Think about that. They have billions
they do a
of
good
interactions
job
with people. That's what I'm saying. Even in a corporation, that you're going to have some losses. I mean, they can expect humans to have zero error rate. And they usually prosecute those humans that make the mistakes. The cops, they get.
That's
charged.
like if a kid reaches in and grabs his phone and he pulls it out, the cop can overreact. But most of the time, like the kid's running from the cop or something stupid, right? So I think that based on the rate of error, it's very, 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 very low. And I think generally the cops have been vilified. When reality is they're doing a pretty good job.
It's inevitable. It's fighting
even wearing cameras. Yeah, they're wearing cameras, and I think they're doing a pretty good job.
If they understand mathematics whatsoever, the odds statistically, there's not going to be 100% perfect, ever. So you're fighting something that's inevitable. No. I just don't. There's things we can put energy in that it's more beneficial.
Well, the media has also created this, right? The media has also fed
stupid.
Yes, but
he just said FBI someone told him 50,000 black men were killed by the cops last year. He's like, what?
Listen, my nephew told me that also. My nephew was like, because he's a hardcore lefty. My nephew is, right. He's also a dipshit, and he's a socialist that won't get a job basically. But he's he thinks that 50,000 black people die a year by cops. And it's what?
He just believes everything everyone says. I mean, he doesn't do any research himself.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's the media has created this too, though. Think about it. They literally
have that. That's like social media, just random idiot speaking. But
I believe that a lot of the left-leaning media has created the idea that when you leave your house, if you happen to be black, you're being hunted by the cops. MSNBC specifically is notorious for creating this environment, where reality is, 338 million Americans, and overall, white, black, Hispanic, very few people die by cops.
Yeah, well, in any kind of topic, people, I don't care if they're left or right or what they lean, they should always go research their stuff. Even on issues that I hear on the, on the news or whatever, and I'm like, oh, good, I agree with that. I'm still going to go look it up to read into it further. But people just don't do that.
No, they're not. Well, and frankly, I believe the news should be more forthright with information. But I
don't think the news ever said 50,000. Do you? I think he got that off some Tariq.
No, they just
type guy.
Yeah, it's all delusion. But they do conflate things. For example, they'll say, they'll talk about income gap, and then household income gap, and then they compare, black to white, and don't include Asians in the income metrics. Like they do a lot of different shit to fuck around with information.
Yeah, they lead
based on the
people.
narrative they want to tell.
Yeah, they don't necessarily come out and say it, but they kind of like lead the witness. You know what I mean? They get them into kind of into all these other, like negative things that then they're going to draw this natural conclusion that this must be the cause. But they don't have to actually say how many. They could say, oh, it's a growing number or something like that. And it went from like 12 to 14.
Or they'll say it's 1,000% increase, but they don't say, well, last year there were 4 and this year there were, 8.
Right.
It's 100% increase. Like, well, it went from 4 to 8. What the fuck are you talking about?
Or if you show that on a graph, it should be like straight up, right? I mean,
exactly. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and finish out the video, yo. By the way, I had to snip this picture of this guy right here. I'm gonna turn this into a propaganda poster.
Yeah, it looks like a skinnier, angry snowman kind of.
I'm gonna be. It's gonna be like Antifa. I got you.
That guy's Antifa.
It's really funny
on the screen right now.
His commentary. Roll a clip.
Man, if you think adults, kids, and Teslas are crazy, watch this.
Watch out! Watch out! Hey, don't jump. Hey, Jackson, don't up.
This was a turning point event at UC Davis where Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, was at. Okay,
that guy jumped up quick though. That was weird.
Antifa tearing up their canopy and throwing stuff at him. All right, number one, how stupid are you? Do you have any idea how big that man is? Like, that is a man among boys, and that's who you want to pick a fight with? And
yeah,
number
bad idea.
two, where are the
he wasn't there at the beginning though, so
just sitting there watching Brandon and the rest of the guys from Turning Point defend their territory while it's being destroyed. Do your job. Like, is this what freedom of speech is in our country now? Of course it is.
He couldn't have said. Nobody could say it better, man. I think the cops should have did more, and I'm a pro cop guy, and I'm not blaming the individual cops. I'm blaming whatever authority is telling them that they can't get physically and engage or get physical and engage. But here's the caveat. I'm gonna explain this, and then we're gonna go on to the other stories. I understand why, but there's a way around the why. The reason that the cops don't want to get too jiggy with them, because what if 70, 80, 100, 200, 300 people come out and bombard and attack the cops? They can't just lay there and get beat to death, right? They're going to have to use force against them, and in many cases, it's going to be deadly force. And they don't want the optics of police officers shooting people on campus. They don't want that optic. So they rather just disengage and let people beat each other up. Now, I would say the best tactic to use is that the first time they do this, you go and you get the state, you get the county, you get the municipality, and y'all all join forces on campus, and you set the tempo so that they know when they come on campus with their craziness, they're going to get worked. Pepper sprayed, flex baton, you name it, work. And then they wouldn't do it again. But the problem is they're so passive, it emboldens these people to do it with complete completely being absolved of any kind of criminal arrests. They're throwing things on people, criminal damage. I mean, assault. When you throw stuff on people, that's an assault. Criminal damage, threats and intimidation. I mean, you can go down a list of crimes that these people are committing. And if they're not students, they committed a crime on a university campus. In many cases, those are exaggerated or exacerbated charges. But in this world we live in, they just let them do it, which is a shame. All right, let's move on.
Sadly. Yeah, that's sad.
I think the thing about it is, and that's what I wanted to point out to you, Ryan, is these things that he's saying set the tempo. That's only reserved for right wingers or political beliefs that people shit on both sides, right? Because the Unite the Right rally, they had all the permits. The police were told to stand down. They literally herded Antifa and the Unite the Right rallies together, and then now under Trump and under the later years in Biden, they started going for the Unite the Right people who had all of their shit in order, who had everything, who had all the permits, and who were supposed to be allowed to be there. What you push is white flight and white cowardice, and you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win.
I don't know why you're saying white cowardice. What do you mean by?
Because you want white people to tuck their tail and go, oh, I'm just gonna go away because it's less violent over here. I'm gonna let my back be pushed against the wall, and that's my biggest issue.
That's what those people voted for. That's what they want.
So, if I'm in a place where they want crime, for example, Baltimore City, I'm not for that. I'm not for any of that. I'm for prosperity. I'm for hard work. I like laws. I'm for them, because I live in a civil society. So what do you propose that is a solution? Mob violence?
Stand and fight. You stand and fight.
No, you
it
just
doesn't
let
matter if
people
it's
live where
it doesn't
their
matter if
beliefs
it's mob
line
violence.
up.
It doesn't matter if it's mob violence. It doesn't matter if it's individual violence. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even
You
have
don't
to
believe
be
in
violent.
democracy because you're not like supporting
Democracy
and
is
honoring
violent.
what the majority of those voter districts want.
Democracy is.
No, they vote
mob
for the
violence.
light on.
So what you're not. Here's what you're not
crime.
understanding.
Ryan.
You're not respecting those people's votes.
Where do you run? Where the fuck do you run when every county and every city in this country practices and pushes virtually the same shit with just a different?
That won't happen.
So I have almost no crime where I live. I mean, almost no crime.
Yeah.
Right?
So what happens when the demographics change and you have that crime? You gonna run? You gonna run?
You live in a balance. People balance out each other.
I want my kids to go to
naturally.
good schools. They're out of school now, but I wanted my kids to go to good schools. And I was in a neighborhood that wasn't as good. And I was like, let me look at the school system. It kind of sucks. Let's move. And I moved, right? Because I'm going to move to where my kids are going to get the best education. I'm going to try to accumulate a lot of money so I can choose where I live. And I'm then going to move to places where there's no crime, like all humans do. Right?
Humans are migratory. Since the beginning of time, humans migrate around.
I mean, what do you?
There's an ebb and flow with that. And only
do you want to have like
there's
street violence
attackers,
amongst races?
Intruders.
Like, I don't think that's.
Yes, Ryan. That's what I want. I don't believe in racial supremacy, but I want street violence against the races. Yes.
Well, here's the issue.
That's not at all what I want.
Here's the issue. Okay, there's a risk-reward profile, right? My risk-reward profile, as you gain more money, right, and you have more to lose, like your family and like your freedom, your decisions change to say, you know what, I'm just gonna fucking move, man. And by the way, it's not just whites that do that; it is also blacks, and they are currently moving out of PG County in fucking droves because criminals are moving in from Southeast DC. The blacks are like, fuck this, we're out of here. These fucking assholes are. They're low-end people that are fucking the place up. They're like, we're out of here. I don't know what the solutions are other than hardcore law enforcement and hardcore, which I'm all for that, and I'm also stiff sentencing. People want to be stupid, put them in fucking jail, but our society is too weak and gay to do that.
Ivan absolutely hit the nail on the head. There's natural immigration. And then there's forced to leave your neighborhood because of animalistic behavior from particular groups.
That's lack of leadership.
Most human migration has happened. And you look historically, let's not look at the modern world since people want to say immigration and migration is natural in humans. There's only two reasons you get massive amounts of immigration. Conquest is the number one. Look at the Aryan conquest of the.
That's a low level.
No, that is not a low. That is not a low level. That is not a low level.
Moving into your area that has different mindset than you. That's a very low level.
Let the host finish.
I was speaking first. You interrupt me. That's fine. Go ahead.
But the conquest is not low level migration. If you look at the Aryan conquest specifically, they migrated from the Caucasus Mountains and the northern Indus Valley. They conquered most of Europe and all the way into Asia and the Asiatic steppe. All right, that was a migration. Migration also happen. Migration also happens because of famine and natural disasters, and then you have war torn areas that people leave.
Okay, so all three of those happen low level here because people want to escape all the crime. That's basically like a war-torn environment. And then people want to improve, so they want better surroundings. So that's wanting somebody else's resources. They want something that they got.
Here's the
and
issue.
It doesn't have to be nefarious in nature.
Here's the issue. When people, quote unquote, escape war-torn environments, a large percentage of those people escaping the war-torn environment are the cause of it being a war-torn environment, and they bring it to your area. Look at El Salvador, Ryan. So when those
my point. We agree.
Me and you agree, but me and Ryan don't. Me and Ryan don't, and I'm talking to Ryan. I'm talking to you.
Oh, well, I thought you were talking to me.
No, Ryan.
So the issue,
when those people, hold on, wait. When those people who are quote unquote escaping miniature war-torn areas because of gang violence, and they bring it to your area, what do when your crime rate spikes? Do you just pick up and leave, or do you say, no, you get the fuck out of here, you're causing problems? By your own logic, I'll say,
but how do you
leave?
How do you do that? How do you do that?
By any means necessary. What it is you want me to say I want group violence. No, I don't. I want to stop that. But if that's what it fucking takes to defend what you have and what you've built, you do that. If the state fails you, you stand and you fucking fight. You create another state.
But explain the mechanism there. So I have people that are moving into my community that are they're shitheads, right? They're fucking, they're weapon, whatever you want to say. They're criminals, whatever. They're moving into my neighborhood. So do I go over and beat on their door and tell them to move? How does it work? You're not explaining how it works.
Well, we already know how it works by looking at history. But since you need me to hold your hand, I'll tell you. You start lobbying your local law enforcement to increase patrols and officers in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then when they start writing you tickets so it doesn't look racist, or they start harassing everyday citizens because they don't want to look racist. Because we both know the problem that's coming into your neighborhood. We both know it. And then and bring the crime with them. So then when they don't want to look racist because my racism bad, then you start lobbying for HOAs. You can't buy property in the neighborhood unless it's certain laws. And HOAs
we have an HOA.
Are shitty for everybody. But hold on, wait. Blue Jay, you're also roboting. And then you know what? If that doesn't work,
for a while.
Well, you're roboting now. I'm saying when you.
Oh, you mean my microphone?
Yeah. When by and large the HOAs stop working, and eventually they will. Then, if that's what it takes, if mob violence is what it takes, oh fucking well, it's what it takes. But this running the fuck away every time it gets bad from your area and from your prosperity that you built, is a losing strategy in the long run, and all it is.
But what you're not. If I stay, I can hear you fine, Blue Jay. If I stay in the community that I'm in, and that is becoming more criminalized, the school system is obviously going backwards. The very property value that I've built is being degraded. It decreases. It goes down with school scores. It goes down. But people look at that when I'm going to buy a house, I'm literally looking at school scores, right? And I'm looking at crime rates, and I'm going, okay, let's take a look at what we have here. And when I see the schools are 5 out of 10, I'm going, that's not going to reap me what I want down the road. Those things are all impacted. You can look at those statistics, right? So if I'm in a district where there's 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 school scores, and that shit's going backwards, I'm going, I got to get the fuck out of here, right? That's what I'm doing. And it's not that I'm not standing and fighting. It's that I want to make a profit off of the residence I'm in and then move to the next one, right?
And that inherently it is a problem of itself, but it's a different problem.
I think it's less to do with crime. We need
to get away from speculation in our economy. But me and you will have.
It's not speculation.
We'll have to
pay for my own.
We'll have to. Me and you will have to have an old school, fucking old hickory style rule.
Speculation would be if I'm buying a property or a stock based on the idea that others will buy it and drive up the price. This is simply appraisal values.
every time you talk about buying a house and the profit you can make off of it, that is real estate speculation.
That is speculation because you don't know how the housing market's gonna evaluate.
And we should do like if we want to have communities. If we want to have the communities that we all agree we want to have, we have to do like the Japanese and get rid of real estate speculation.
Are you guys buying houses? I personally can't afford to buy a house. But anyway, I was going to say the tenants don't leave because of the crime, though, right, Ryan? You just don't buy because you know that affects your bottom line. But people typically are unhappy where they live because of their neighbors. Like, for instance, when I was a kid, I lived in 13 houses from the time I was born until I graduated high school. Like, we constantly moved, right? 6 months lived here, then I lived with my friends for a while. My mom was too far, shit like that. So I've been around a lot of different like neighbors. And even as an adult, kind of, I guess it's like normal to me. But so I would notice maybe if I just spent, they might have music real loud, like super late at night, or you know, like there's just certain things that certain people do, and it doesn't make it like illegal or wrong. It's just like it's kind of annoying to you, or it's just not how you are. So it's not wrong or right. But I think that could be part of why people move too.
Yeah, but look, I'm sitting on an asset that is, you know, worth a decent amount of money.
Yours is different because you're actually like financially invested.
This is why I call you a spiritual boomer too, by the way, right?
Average poor person,
money,
you know, you're
okay.
No, but be honest, not many people can afford investment property. Like it's hard to buy a house right now, especially if you already have.
Well, it's not an investment property. It's like my personal property. I mean, I've had rentals before and all that bullshit, right? This is simply my personal home, and if just let's take $1 million. Your house is worth $1 million. If the school scores are going backwards and that kind of shit's going on, that fucker's going down in appraisal. You're going to get $700,000. If you owe $500,000, you're going to get $200,000 out of it versus $500,000 out of it. That's a lot of fucking money, right?
It is,
if it's $100,000 house and you're going to give up 10 or 20% of the value, you could be over and under on it, even, right?
The average.
Everyone should be looking at
this.
Speculation only works in mono-ethnic societies, and even then, it's still bad. You don't have the stability of a mono-ethnic society. You're always going to
at some point I want to retire, and I'm going to want to sell the house and make money, have something left, right? I'm going to want to sell any investment accounts I have in my retirement that you put into it work typically. So I don't know what I guess everything's speculation. If I buy anything, I'm assuming that at some point I'm either going to make money or lose money.
You're smarter than that. Anyway, here the school argument. Ivan said something perfect for the school argument. All you need to do is accuse schools of not having quote unquote diversity or individuals. And they will bring the diversity to your doorstep whether you like it or not, which will cause the schools to go down, which, by your logic, will cause the property values to go
down. And then I'll move, right?
Okay.
So in other words, I'm looking at the dollars and cents here.
So when does it become not profitable for you to move? How many times do you have to move, buy and sell your house? Because I really want to be I really want to be a petty bitch. And find out where you are, start calling the school system like, hey, look, it's not diverse enough. So you have to put your money where your mouth is. You have to be like, so how much do you have to lose before leaving?
Kids in school and shit. Leaving a lot more than just
is not
change.
My kids are out of school, and I still look at the school scores to determine property value.
There's a whole thing. There's a whole host of things.
Where are all the Somalian children at?
In school and in sports, you wouldn't just be looking at the money. That's what I'm saying. When you have the luxury,
and look, frankly,
to only care about the investment, that's different than people that are rooted or they. You know what I'm saying? But the people that are rooted will still move, even though it's really inconvenient, if the culture is just not like cohesive enough. But crime, unless it directly affects them, most people just sit in it.
Yeah, FYI, side note for everyone that's watching the chat or watching this back, as of right now, for 9/2025, Bitcoin is drastically upticking, so that means it's going to drastically crash very soon. So if you have Bitcoin, fucking sell that shit immediately as we speak right now. Sell that shit right now.
Well, the U.S. stock market is currently surging like a motherfucker.
It's plummeting.
Well,
stock market's fucking plummeting right now. It's crazy.
No, it's not. It's
right,
all over
so
the
you're
place.
gonna wait till it gets low and then buy. But I mean, you can't be telling people to hold a Bitcoin. Fucking, that's wild. Isn't that illegal? Well, if you're not a financial advisor.
Sorry. This is merely my opinion. This is merely my opinion. I am not a financial advisor. Yeah. But unless you want to deal with the crash.
This is the stock market currently.
Damn.
What is it? What's it at?
No, I'm looking at it by sector. It is skyrocketing.
He's gonna halt. He's halting trade embargoes on everybody but China. That's what he said. So it'll change in an hour or two. Don't worry.
The stock market is by and large fake and gay.
And Bitcoin does that. It goes way up, way down, but the average yearly results is like a steady climb.
Well, the stock. Here's the thing: the stock market is by and large fake and gay. It is merely a snapshot in that second of the market. The stock market goes up and down, and by and large, as long as you have a prosperous nation over the long term, I don't care about day traders and I don't care about boomers 401ks. By and large, as long as you live in a prosperous nation, the 10-year returns are ever increasing because those corporations are getting bigger and bigger. So if you do the stock market the way it's supposed to be done, long-term investments, you're gonna be okay.
I'll pass on a good advice I was given by like a very prominent professor. I went to like a private college, and that all the professors were actually experts in the field too. So you don't get that with teachers, right? But he said, and I wanted to remember this: if you want to know what to invest in, ask teenagers what they like, what's popular. Is that it's going to be that they are the trendsetters. Think about the Crocs and like some of this shit that they're like, what the hell, kids like that? Why? But then all of a sudden it blows up. So anyway, it's not my advice.
I would tell you to seek a professional because it's fucking hard.
I just said it's just something I was told. I'm not saying I know. I mean, I do think that obviously
it's really hard.
You got to find the waves of the trend going up, and teenagers really do set a lot of, because parents spoil their kids. They always buy them what they want.
I hear a lot of stuff like that, but the truth is like, I go to buy stock and I fucking miss it, or I don't. I have a fucking business degree and I don't know what I'm doing. And a lot of the traders don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's just hard to figure out, man. You gotta know too much information.
You gotta be in it. You gotta stay in business degree. I want to. It's just principles.
It's hard.
If you want
Most
to
of the traders
up to date, what if you would have got
Yeah.
Supreme? What do you order on Supreme, that brand, or just some of these other things these kids are into? Like, who knew some of the shit they would end up grabbing onto? It's like, you guys wear that? Stussy, I wore that like back in the day, stuff like that. But then you'll see that the company like blows up for a minute. So,
and I don't have a boomer mindset, by the way. I'm not a boomer. I'm far from a boomer.
You do, Ryan. You do. You have a boomer mindset, brother.
What does that mean? That I have a retirement account at work?
No.
Can I save in a retirement account?
Everything culturally, economically, that you support is the same shit.
Do you believe that me, a 25-year-old, can quote unquote pull myself up by the bootstraps from born into a completely impoverished area and be on par someday with, let's say, like a Jeff Bezos or whatever, through just hard work and dedication?
No, not him, but nobody can, I don't think. But yeah, you can do what you can make.
Do I believe a 26-year-old that has
high middle income? No, I'm just saying, I don't think anybody can like set their sights on being the next Jeff Bezos. That's pure luck and like being at the right place at the right time. But
do I believe that you can make a good living and earn it, live the American dream? I do.
Yeah.
I can't. It's not possible. It's physically impossible unless without being like a complete like venture step on people's necks capitalist. Like there's like the idea of the American dream is completely dead. There is no way that I can work a normal job and have a wife, kids, and a white picket fence house that's only like 2 bedrooms. It is impossible.
My sister's husband supports it. My cousin doesn't work. I didn't work when I was like young kids, mom.
I don't know what part of the country you live in, but I literally fled Blue Jay. I literally fled away from a blue state, moved to a red state, and it's literally just the same. It's the same, just a tiny bit cheaper, and the house prices are drastically going up.
There is virtually no difference between leftist liberals, i.e. Democrats, and right-wing liberals, i.e. Republicans.
They still genuinely believe in the same.
You're like early 20s?
I'm 25.
Okay, so my son-in-law is 26, my daughter is 23, and they just got married last year. They don't have kids yet, but he's almost done with his electrician. He's a year and a half, and then when he gets done, she's going to quit working, and they're going to have kids. So how is that? They're your age group. They're doing that.
But no. You said they're trying to do that.
No, they will. They know. She's working to save.
The fact that you have to say they will means that they are not doing that.
In a year and a half, he's got to go.
Does he own his own house?
In a year and a half.
Takes him. No, he's been doing his electrician stuff for like 3 years already at least. It takes like 5 years to become an electrician. You know
Blue Jay, in a year and a half, or maybe 2 years, we can come back to this conversation, and if they have succeeded in that plan, where she's a stay-at-home mom, then you can tell me and Bumpkin.
He could do it now. He could technically support them now, and it would be tight. And she's
do they own their own house or do they rent?
No, they just moved to another state.
So they rent.
Yes, they do. They're gonna. I mean, they don't care about that. She can stay home
i.e. the American dream is not feasible.
They will buy a house. He's going to be making good money. You don't get to understand.
You're not going to be able to buy a house because you're going to go to buy it
now. He's going to make close to 200 when he's done.
Yeah, you're gonna go to buy a house and you're gonna realize why is a 2-bedroom house with not even an acre of property $500,000?
Where to go? She wants to move to Savannah, Georgia, maybe or something like that.
Yeah, she's definitely not going to be able to do it in Savannah, Georgia.
If he's making $200,000 a year, she can.
No, not with the housing prices.
Savannah, it's not that fancy.
No, it's not about being fancy. It's the fact that boomer-minded people like Ryan.
Utah average house price is way higher than the national average. It's $650,000 average here. It's like $800 something than where I live. My sister lives. It's $1.6 million.
Blue Jay, it's not possible to own your own house in your lifetime right now. Even Blue Jay, I'm sorry. Even if you specifically have a high-paying job and it's a non-remote job, let's just say it's non-remote, you can move anywhere in the nation, right? That's the best case scenario. You move to bumfuck middle of nowhere. You get a house for like, I think going is like $400K, right? Even if you do that, okay, and you are making a good amount of money, the interest rates right now going off of that property, you will not be able to pay it off on those interest rates.
She just bought another house. She's on 2 houses, 3. They buy investment shit now. Like,
yeah, but it doesn't matter if you can't give those houses to your children. It does not matter.
They can. They got just trust me. I know some people that have one income and they're doing very, very well. But what I'm saying is you have to be that person that wants to make above average and has to work toward. You have to work hard. It's possible, but not everybody's going to do it. No, that was her question.
And therefore, the American dream is dead.
No,
unless you are working multiple jobs, or unless you are a complete immoral venture capitalist, you are not going to be able to make ends meet relatively. You are not going to be able to achieve. You will not be able to achieve that American dream.
Oh my God, Bumpkin! You're not going to tell me that because I did it. I was a stay-at-home mom and I owned a home, and so my sister is a stay-at-home mom. She has a home. My cousin too.
How old are you?
How can you tell me it's impossible? I'm early 40s. My daughter is like, I had her when I was in college.
Blue Jay. You're not our generation. We're not talking about people
my
your
daughter's
age.
Doing it. That's why I brought her up.
But your daughter's not doing it.
But she's not doing it. By definition.
She quit her job out of the blue, and she didn't have to work. He can pay all their bills, but she's not doing anything. So she figures I'll work, save up, until he's all the way like his own electrician. He doesn't have to be an apprentice, journeyman, or whatever they do. He's still in school. There's a lot to it, but they know he works for an electrician right now. He's been working for an.
The current interest rates are extremely high to purchase anything, but they were extremely low 4 years ago, and 3 years ago, and 2 years ago. So we are at a time that's difficult to buy. But rest assured, the rates will come down to 3.5% to 5% soon enough.
Over half the adults in the United States own a home.
How old are you bunking?
I keep.
How old are you bunking? How old are you bunking? How old are you?
I said I'm 25.
Okay, so you're 25, and I'm not sure about you Orthodox, but I've been through economic booms and busts. I've seen rates as low as, during zero, which has never been that low. It's crazy it was, but when my first house was at like 6%, and what happens is when they slash the rates to zero like they did, it drives housing through the friggin' roof. Okay, housing is super high right now, and interest is high. But rest assured, that will come down, because wages haven't caught up to that. It's a matter of time. You just got to wait, save your money, save every penny you can. Okay, and there'll be a time when you can buy a home. What's that?
So what's going to happen?
By the time we have the money to buy a house now, the pricing of houses will have doubled what they are.
Yeah.
And that's how it's gone.
So housing's not going up. Housing's not going up. It's dead flat. It's been flat, and it's deflating in certain markets.
So what's going to happen?
Housing is not going up.
They're doing these housing incentives where they give people money. Like in Kentucky, I believe it was, just last week. They offered $50,000 if you'd move there. They'd give you $50,000 down.
That'll drive the price up. That's a bad idea.
Hey guys,
they only have 1,000 people there or whatever. They need people to come back.
It's this mindset. Am I low? Is my mic low?
No, we hear you. I hear you.
Okay, it's this mindset. Okay, it's this mindset that everything's going to be fine. The market's going to work itself out. It never does. 70% of the income that is in circulation right now in the United States was printed during COVID. We are fucked. There is no way around that. Inflation is going to increase exponentially. We are going to go into another recession, if not worse than that. 2008, it might make 2008 look like a fucking walk in the park.
The fact that it hasn't happened yet is a miracle.
It's a miracle. It's God's grace to our generation, Orthodox.
But respectfully, where are you reading this?
It's not true.
You haven't seen the stuff. You haven't seen where 70% of income was printed in circulation. Now was printed during COVID.
But it eventually evens itself out.
No, it doesn't. We're on a steady decline as a nation. Ryan, how can you?
I'm taking a lot of economics courses. It's like a philosophy more. It's not a guaranteed science. It's not math. It's philosophy.
You want to know why? I know because
how can y'all say that I've gone through multiple life-changing economic crises in my life and not be like, yeah, we're totally progressing as a nation. We're not on the downfall decline at all.
I'll tell you why. Because when I was 24, 23, I was living in an abandonment. Okay. I had no money. I made $10 an hour and had a kid, and I was broke as a fucking joke. And at 26, I was able to finally buy a fixer-upper piece of shit house that was a dumpy, dumb house for $80,000 with no kitchen in it. And I didn't have a kitchen for a while. That was okay. But basically, it sucked not quite as bad as it does now, because now these idiots kept the rates too low and drove housing through the roof, right? We are in a shit time right now. But rest assured, wages haven't gone up, so people can't afford to buy shit. So they'll cut interest rates eventually. They'll cut them. Inflation's down to flat. Under Biden, we did lose about 20% of our buying power. If you didn't get a 20% raise, you got screwed. Okay.
Well, and then what will happen too?
But wages will catch up. If people are doing the job you currently have, which I don't know your job, Bumpkin, but if you see people that own homes that have your job, you will eventually have a home. It's just right now is not the time to buy anyway. Just wait.
Bumpkin.
Well, what will happen is when people...
The issue with your argument, me and you agree about when it comes to wages, right? The issue with your argument is wages will not increase because they will keep bringing the third world in They will keep bringing the third world in. They will, and then if it's not illegal immigration driving down wages, they'll allow visas over here to do the jobs and do the training for cheaper for corporations.
So I've always said I'm against immigration due to wages.
Me and you are in agreement, but that will not stop.
Tiny fraction of the population. That is it's so minuscule.
Blue Jay, do you know how many? Do you know?
Doesn't matter.
Do you know that 90% of the jobs created under the Biden administration went to foreigners?
I am aware of that 90% of like the agriculture.
It doesn't matter if they're a small portion of the population.
I'm not even talking about that. You're talking about the HB1 visas and all this stuff. But like, we're not bringing in a lot of workers. We're bringing factories here to employ our people.
But that's not happening by and large right now.
It takes a minute.
Yeah, it may take a minute, but we don't have a minute. We've already had these problems.
Here's what's going to happen. As the jobs increase, then the labor supply will be more in demand, so companies will have to be competitive, so they'll have to pay more. Then what will happen is the interest rates will go down, and so then people will be able to buy it. Once people start buying, the renters have to sell some of their places because they have way too many rental homes right now. They're not going to be at capacity. Some people can't afford the mortgage. They're going to have to sell the house cheaper, or they're going to have to do some, major upgrades, things like that. The rental market will become more competitive. So it all is like a domino effect.
The fact that you say renting market, don't see the problem with that. The majority of people, majority of adults in this country should own homes from an economic standpoint.
I never said otherwise.
But we have less than 50% of homeowners. I think it's 43%
right now,
of adults own homes.
People can't buy, right?
Right now is not the time to buy anyway. Don't buy.
Right. So people are not buying right now, so of course they're renting. But what will happen when interest rates go down and people have saved up a little money and they're sick of renting and they're ready to buy, they're excited, and then they go get a house, then there's too many rental properties available. So the prices go way down, or people sell their short sales and get rid of them because they need rent money to pay their second mortgage.
We need a good recession is what we need to cool things off. We've needed that for years. We haven't had one. We've been in a period of expansion for fucking 15 years. So recessions are good because it cleans out the garbage. If you don't get routine raises, the price of shit goes down, right? So ultimately what's going to happen is this. You guys are going to save your money because now's not the time to buy. We're either going to get deflation with housing or we're going to get a flat, long period where nothing goes up. And you don't want to buy assets that don't go up. And you're going to wait, and then the economy will start to get a little better, and they're going to cut rates. They'll be cutting them. Boom, boom, boom. Cut them. It's going to hit a number where you're going to see housing start to go up, and that's when you jump on that shit. Right? That's when you're going to jump on.
I think more home buyers.
But save your money now. I don't give a fuck if you save $20 a week. Save your money because, ultimately, there's going to be a time. I mean, I just had
go drive some Uber on the side or something if that's your goal.
I had a family member.
You guys have a boomer mindset.
No, the problem is people.
Or just a person with a business degree. Either way.
To get a little more. The law of averages says if you do what everybody else is doing, then you're going to be average. So if you want to be higher than average, you've got to have to do higher than average.
I'm just saying, consult the graph. Consult the chart.
I mean, it's just like any solution
on average, this is the savings. This is the savings per generation. Gen Z, you have 30, and this is under $1,000 in their savings account right now. Gen Z is at 32%.
What? This shows me nothing.
When their parents
die, that's dumb. This chart shows nothing.
The people older always have all this stuff because they're.
It shows the average. You said save your money.
I'm going to go from broke to kind of a little bit more upper class than my parents said. Do I want to buy? No. But that's how that works. So of course the 60s people are the richest because their parents died and they got their houses and shit. What are you talking about?
Or they just accumulated money over their lifetime. Either way.
Well,
what the fuck do you think I've been doing?
You see the majority of people have under 10,000 in their savings account.
Okay. Okay. Orthodox, I gotta bounce.
Always been broke.
I'm about to end the stream anyway.
Yeah, I gotta bounce. It's going to be crazy, right? Certain solutions have certain problems will create certain solutions, and we'll see where this lands.
I'm just gonna look, guys. Look, seriously, Bumpkin. I felt very discouraged at 25 and 24, and I was like, I'm never gonna fucking get anywhere because this deck is stacked, right? And just one day at a time, I saved a little bit, saved a little more. The rates came down at the right time, and I jumped on a house that was a shithole. It'll happen, man. Just right now is the worst fucking time because of this shit we just went through. The idiot guy in office last time. So, but I promise you, man, it's all cyclical. I promise.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to say people should rely on
since the 50s. It's been shit since the 50s. Wages have not matched. Wages have not matched. Self-sufficiency is a joke. You think I can buy land and set up my own power system and live off grid? You think that's feasible right now? Think any of this is feasible? What happens when you tell an entire generation of men that you will never own a fucking house and you'll never be able to have a family because the entire system... We won't.
And build a house for cheap, and you can work at the mines and shit if you want.
I'm not working at the goddamn mines. I'm a correctional officer. I do a vital job.
You want to live in a big city, but you don't want to do a big city high living career, right? So how can you blame anybody else?
I don't live in a big city, Blue Jay. That's what I'm telling you. I specifically moved to the Midwest. I specifically moved to rural living. I specifically moved out in the sticks from a more traditional big city living, so I would be able to spend less money. And all I see out here is a little bit of cheaper rent. That's it.
How much is the average house price there?
I don't know. I think it's probably like $200K.
That's so cheap.
Yeah, it's so cheap because there's less job opportunities out here. That's why, bro.
Blue Jay. Here's the issue, right? You live in a bigger city, right? If you live in a bigger city, prices are going to match the average wage.
I purchased a house for $143,000 when I was first married way back in the day with my
But you
$1,000
realize that $200,000 in a rural area is ridiculous.
$1,300 a month. That's cheaper than rent.
No, hold on, Blue Jay. Hold on. Did you work? Did your husband work, or did you both work?
My house cost $143,000. This was way back. We built a tiny little house.
Did you work?
Yes, we both worked.
Did your husband work?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how much their mortgage would be on a $200,000 house.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it. I am starting to get a headache, and
we'll talk more. Yeah. Don't lose hope, guys. Don't lose hope, man.
Look into it. It's not that.
Hope is lost. The only thing that's going to save this nation. I got to stop talking. I'm going to
I mean, you're on the same page. I value Blue Jay and Ryan's opinion on this, and that's why I don't hammer them with the boomer thing. If they were slightly older, I just would not pay attention. Ryan,
we're going to talk more. We're going to talk more. I promise. I was you guys. I was you guys. I swear.
My thing is, like, I may give you shit about your economics, and I will always be against speculation, but we live in that system, so we have to learn it. So if you're willing to teach, I'm willing to listen. I'm still gonna fuck with you and talk shit on it because I don't like it.
I promise.
But we have to learn it, and I respect Ryan and Blue Jay's knowledge. I don't
have Ryan's knowledge whatsoever. I'm very kind of irresponsible.
Don't lose hope.
I don't have Ryan's, trust me, his discipline.
I'm trying not to, but when you compile not only the financial problems, but the racial and education and immigration problems as well, the hope is it's very, very dim. But I have faith that God will pull me through. I have faith that the people that I care about and the people that are working hard, and the people that are willing to learn like myself, the people that are willing to learn to teach like Blue Jay and Ryan, I have a feeling that we will all be okay. It's just gonna be really, really shitty, and that's why I advocate for revolution, because we shouldn't have to live through shit. None of us should have to live through shit because stupid people.
Yeah, what happens from this time forward to the 2030s, right? Don't judge me for it. All right.
I do have a feeling that we are on the precipice of an American years of lead or American troubles. I
forecasting is honestly.
Look, we're going to talk more, okay? And I was a bricklayer at your age. I couldn't make any fucking money. I couldn't get with the union. I was angry as shit at the world, and I was like, I got fucked by the boomers. I was furious. I'm Gen X, and I'm just going to tell you that it was, looking back, it was this period in time that was shit for me at the time. It was 2000 and prior, and because we were in a recession like we are now, even though no one says that. But just trust me, we'll talk, and you know, there is hope, though. I promise. It's everything's going up and down all the time, man. I mean, just we'll talk more. We'll talk more.
If you put it in the mortgage calculator and put 200,000, and then you can kind of see what the monthly payment would be. It's probably not more than your rent.
Let me change stuff real quick because I am going to end it in a few minutes. But have you seen CT's take on the stabbing, by the way, Bumpkin?
I don't believe him. There is no way in hell he's serious.
Oh, okay. So basically on Twitter, he said that it was justified, essentially, right? That he did nothing wrong, that he stood up. And now he's saying that his actions on his latest stream title, like going on right now, is let me pull it up so I can say it verbatim because I don't feel like going to find his Twitter thing.
I'm pretty sure he's trolling.
I think so too. Why Camilo Anthony's actions in Frisco stabbing makes sense. My thing is, I think he's trolling, but this is why for me, even though I despise white nationalism, I've come to hate white nationalists. This is why I cannot move away from it because here's the thing, I don't know if he's trolling. And if he is trolling, he shouldn't be trolling on something like that. Because you have a clear-cut case of a black aggressor killing a white kid. And you want to say that that's okay. Like, bruh, this is why racism. This is why I can't get away from it.
But that's why you can't let that affect you. Just got to read, because like I pulled up all the statutes in the Texas Stand Your Ground law, the criteria that you have to meet to qualify for self-defense argument, right? He violates 3 right off the bat. 1, you can't provoke somebody, even if it's just verbally. Once you do that, then you're no longer self-defense. 2, you can't escalate the use of force higher than what's coming at you. So if they don't have a weapon, you can't just pull a weapon out. 3, if you have a weapon that's carried illegally or in a criminal manner, which would be on school grounds and being a minor, that crime that you use that weapon for is not exempt, and it's not included in the self-defense. It automatically voids your right. So I have a feeling CT reads. This is very easy information to get. I looked up to the Insurance Show because everybody's so clueless. I'm like, is you guys serious? So I was just kind of posed. I'm like, I cannot believe like the cognitive dissonance here. But CT can't. He's smart. So I think he's got to be doing this to just maybe like get people to feel comfortable saying the most atrocious things, or
I want to agree with you, Blue Jay, but the problem that I'm having, it isn't the facts of the criminal investigation or the incident itself, right? It is the takeaway that I'm seeing Black America have towards white America based on what happened. Blacks are basically saying that it's okay that it happened, and I'm seeing it by and large from every one of them, even conservative blacks. What I'm saying is I want to get away from the race shit. I don't want to be racist because there is a level of racism that is just stupid. And the vast majority of people who are racist are not intelligent people. They are ignorant motherfuckers. It's the vast majority of people, regardless of what they believe in. I'm just specifically talking about race. Most of the people that are racist are ignorant, stupid fucks that know nothing about genetics, know nothing about culture. They're just retarded. I want to get away from race because of those people, but I can't because race is an immutable fact of life. And when I see a white kid get stabbed, and every black in America and their fucking mom says it was justified, even when it was not, and that white kid fucked around and found out, and I don't think CT's trolling because this has been consistent in some of the stuff that he said that black and white stuff has happened. I just wind up hating them, and I don't like being that way, and it sucks. But I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna drop you down. Me and Bumpkin's gonna give our final monologue and thought for the stream, and we're gonna end it. All right? You got something you want to say before we do that? Hello. Going once.
What's up?
Twice.
Oh. Sorry, I blinked out.
I was talking to Blue Jay. She could put in private chat if she wants to give her final thought. But so based on everything we talked about, you want to give your final monologue?
What happens up from this point until the 2030s, God, do not judge me upon these things.
All right. I think that we should all always never give up. I think that we should always work to make ourselves better. We should always work to save money. The things that people who I call boomers say is not wrong, but it's the reason that they do these things that is wrong. They're right for the wrong reasons. And while we should always work hard to better ourselves, we should not stop looking outside just because we are bettering ourselves and looking inside. Your environment does play a role in how outcomes come, but you should always try your best to live above it. All right, thank you guys for watching. And hold on, Blue. Blue Jay, you're not being silenced.
Yes, I was.
I know. I literally said, "Do you want to give your final thought?" And you didn't say anything. I counted down.
Oh, maybe I was muted. I was about to say.
Go ahead. Go.
Right. Well, anyway, I was going to say it's easy to get caught up in it because I get it. It's like I have a 17-year-old son. He looks a lot like the kid. Imagine how I feel, right? I could easily get caught up in my feelings, but I have to remember most Black people do not agree with those people. For one, most Black people think that it was wrong. The race, they're not worried about that. They can see what it is. So those people are more important. And the ones that are, I heard someone say in Toronto, that's where CT was going off, right? I don't know if you guys call that. And they're very much on the side of, fuck around and find out shit. It's like, are you guys kidding me? Do you want to set that precedence for yourself, for your kids, like the big picture? But regardless, they said, well, at least we're all banding together finally. It's too bad it takes something like this to do it. They feel like they're doing the right thing because they're like standing up for Black, but they're standing up for the wrong Black people, in my opinion. There's a lot of young Black heroes that are doing amazing things and that do deserve to be celebrated or built up and promoted, and but those are the ones that it's the one that killed the white kid, and hopefully we can get him off here because he should walk. And it's like, why do you even want that? Why shouldn't he have to be away from? First of all, he's dangerous, clearly, but I don't understand it. But I just try not to even try to understand it because I don't want to go down the levels. I feel like I'm above that, and I don't want them to drag me down. That's all I want to say.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for watching.
You want to send it off on this song?
Yeah, we can. We're going to end the stream. We're going to play a little bit of the song. We're going to end it randomly. Go ahead.
All right.